Oh, there's a big one. Oh, yeah. Come on, baby. Oh, Lordy. Oh, yeah. 3-pounder. Oh, Jesus. Yes. That's the ones we need. 4 more of these, baby. Yes. Come on, Lord. There's a 4-pounder for you. Don't need to weigh him.
It's the Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain, being brought to you live by Skeeter Boats.
What we just saw there is exactly the way we like to start Bassmaster Live. A great topwater catch by the veteran Kobe Krieger as we begin day 3 of competition. This Bassmaster Elite Series event. Stop number 4 here on this incredible, iconic place, Lake Champlain. All the anglers can't wait to get here for this reason. The reasons, multiple reasons you're looking at right here. You come here, you expect to catch them. Year in and year out, that is the story on Lake Champlain. Of course, that's been the story this time around. We got a field of 40 fishing today who've qualified from the original 85 who fished the first couple of days. And Mark Zona, you know you're going to catch it, barring some train wreck. You're going to catch them here.
No, we don't have 40 out there fishing right now, Tommy Sanders. We have 40 that are just plain catching them, and there's a lot of dynamics going into the rest of the weekend. They had better maul them today. It's eerily similar. What's going to transpire the next 24 hours is eerily similar to what happened last week on the St. Lawrence River.
Well, one thing's for sure, you cannot, this is a tightrope act. You cannot slip, you cannot fall, you cannot falter at any point during the 4 days of competition.
No,
here.
I think we saw a little bit of laying up yesterday. I think we saw a lot of guys that were practicing, getting ready for semifinal Saturday into championship Sunday. I don't think you see much laying up today, Tom.
No, that was the scene at the dock about a little more than an hour ago, about an hour and a quarter ago. Takeoff this morning from Plattsburgh, New York. Again, 40 anglers out there today. Our top 10 separated by less than 4 pounds. This is the place to come if you want tight competition as well. Most years, not every year, but most years.
I know it's strange hearing you say separated by 4 pounds, which in most tournaments you're like, well, that's not that much. No, it is here on Lake Champlain. It's a mile, and a lot of our guys that are in their trucks probably watching right now, they're like, oh yeah, 4 pounds. That's a big gap on this lake.
You're right. That is a big margin given what's going on here, because here you can't move the needle here. You can't run away and hide from the rest of the field. There's such a uniformity of size here as we take a look at this incredible place. Our Hummingbird Lay of the Lake takes us down to all 100 miles plus of Lake Champlain.
Exactly right. Lake Champlain, 100 miles long. Ballpark right around 100 miles long. So much history down at Ticonderoga, New York. Not that much history. No, it has been history. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a little bit slow there. The majority of the action has been on the north end of Lake Champlain, whether you're solely targeting smallmouth bass or mixing in a largemouth or just going for largemouth. But not many guys survived just looking for largemouth this time around. A lot of factors for that. Taking a look at our takeoff right there at Plattsburgh, New York, and you could not ask for a better weather morning on Lake Champlain.
Boy, you couldn't ask for a much better proposition than we have today for you on Bassmaster Live. 6 hours of it for you today. Tommy Sanders, Mark Zona here in the Bassmaster studios. And, you could go to the Classic. That's only 3 days of fishing. You can falter. Your production can go down 10, 15% on one day. You can still come back and win. A 4-day event, it's common for that to happen and somebody wins. You can't do that here.
That's what really makes it so bizarre the last time around when Aaron Martins made that giant, massive run from 19th place. It's just hard to make up a place or two on Lake Champlain. But the one thing that we're going to talk about a lot today, Mother Nature's going to get violent on these guys tomorrow. This is an unofficial TH Marine weather report. We're looking at 10 to 20 in the morning, gassing all the way to 30, possibly 35 mile per hour gusts out of a bad direction tomorrow. That's the south with clouds. Do work today. Yes.
So, what we've got is 6 hours ahead of us. The guys trying to put as much hay in the barn, so to speak, as they possibly can on this 3rd day of competition. Again, 40 anglers out there today. Our guys are in place today, including Zasuch and Ronnie. Mike Sukan, I'm not even going to ask you what you're working on here.
No.
It's been the same thing every day.
No, it's Champ Day, and I'll let that go. The Northern Swing, the Johnson brothers. You come up north here, they were mired in the AOI point standing. 79th for Corey. Chris was 73rd after St. Lawrence, 52nd, 44th. Now they're 26th and 35th, and looking at another northern fishery at St. Clair. Making some hay up here.
A big story out there, Ronnie. The big story in your mind?
I was just calculating over here on the notepad the weights from day 1 and day 2, and they're almost exactly the same. We had 2 anglers not catch a limit yesterday. The full field did on day 1, and those weights were so similar. A 3-pound, 5-ounce average. I mean, to a T. It's crazy how Champlain is the same fishery from one day to the next weight-wise.
All right,
stats.
we know what to expect out there.
stats.
Yes, sweet stats for sure. Let's get out on the water without delay. We saw it right when we started our program. Kobe Krieger catching one on a topwater there. That's the kind of stuff we live for here on Bassmaster Live.
We're going to see a lot of good footage with Kobe today.
Can't throw this thing near as far as I can throw my spook.
Kobe Krieger caught a giant bag of smallmouth on the New York side yesterday. Folks at home are going to like
Oh my
this.
gosh.
Almost all
Yes,
of
sir.
them on a topwater bait.
Yes, sir. Oh, baby. Thank you, Lord. How big he is, but he's bigger than that little guy I caught. Two and a half pounder, I guess it looks like. Have my spook in the way. Krieger, what the heck? I've been throwing this all morning. Thought I would have had a limit there. Good one. Gotta get my spook. Got my ornaments there. All right, we got it. We got it. Not as big. Come on, baby. Easy. Not as big as he needs to be, but we'll take him. We definitely take him. This should make 5, I believe. This is going to be the third small one.
There's a little tiny minnow that call him perch coming up and hunting them.
It's going to be a dangerous boat, Kobe Krieger and Russell Williams today, with Russell's knack of getting great topwater shots and
Yes.
Kobe's knack of throwing it all day.
We'll get some good shots in Kobe Krieger's boat today, no doubt.
That
Should be
fighter
5.
course on the right.
I believe, right?
Second and third we're looking at side by side, and
Yep,
fighter hooked up.
digging.
Seth and Kobe only fishing about 1.5 to 2 miles apart
gonna
right
get
here on the
crazy on
New
me.
York side.
Stay on, baby. Biggin', dude. Come on.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, a biggin', dude. Maybe ain't that big. He's nice. He'll work. He's going on the right side of the live well if we get him. Yes, sir.
Skinny.
Not super big. He's kind of lean. He's a good one, though. It's 2. And they got one on the old. Say what? Any minute. Yeah, the wife was having real bad contractions for a couple hours yesterday. She thought it was going down, and then they went away, so. Yeah.
Look at Scott Canterbury today.
Scott Canterbury
Not
fishing on
big.
the inland sea side. And here's what's scary. Scott Canterbury, the first 2 days of this tournament, was basically done almost by 8 to 8:30. A little bit slower today for Canterbury, fishing around the Gull Island Shoal area, almost the entire event.
Slow this morning. We got one on the tube.
What?
That tube
There you go.
I'm throwing is pretty unique. It's most tubes are like 40% or 60, 70% body, real long body and then short tentacles. And the new netbait tube is opposite. It's 60% tentacles and 40% body. So it's a real short body with long tentacles. Got a lot of action. I caught him on it last year at St. Clair to win the AOY. It was Set the Hook then, and now it's the netbait brand. So they just got the packaging done. Pretty neat deal. They'll be at Tackle Warehouse. Should be there this week or so. So as soon as they get everything processed, they'll be selling there everywhere.
Tom, I'd like to get a look at that tube.
Okay.
But it's the tentacles are just real long on it, so it's got a lot of action. Short body, long tentacles, and seems to smallmouth really like it a lot. It's been good to me last year and this year.
I have to go taste the bait from Scott right there.
Yeah,
Give us a look at that. It looks like a tassel, that thing.
Did it? I recognized the head, the lead head that was in there too.
Did you?
Good stuff right there from Scott Canterbury.
Wouldn't expect anything less from Z since you basically have a pack of tubes under your pillow at night.
I have tens,
pocket.
thousands of tubes. Hey, why don't we get over to Corey Johnston? Corey Johnston was a little. Oh no, we're actually. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Wow.
whoa!
Slow
See,
down.
Listen, we're live, Tommy.
Well, we're flying. We're flying over the lake. It's careful.
I'm spun out after the tube. Back out to Jamie Hartman earlier this morning. You know, here's the thing. See, Jamie Hartman's starting where he did on day 2, and if you were with us yesterday, a bunch of our hardcore viewers that have followed this entire event, Jamie Hartman mauled them yesterday morning. Little bit slower, little bit smaller so far today for Jamie Hartman.
Just over a 3-pound average. Got a limit in the boat.
And here's the thing, yesterday,
Well,
it's real easy to want to go upgrade when you've got 18 and change in the first 30 minutes.
This looked real good. It's coming in.
Jimmy Hartman's been
Not that big.
Carolina rigging. Let's call it a ultra vibe crawdad,
Okay.
soft plastic crawdad
Type lure,
type lure, right? Which is
staple.
yes for anybody that's fished here.
That's got to be real close to 4. But he a keeper, and he's
And that was all earlier today. Took him a little bit. Back on schedule, absolutely. Looking very much like yesterday's start. Timing's a little different.
And really watching him yesterday, when he gets that Carolina rig caught in grass or in a boulder, watch him just pop that rod, and that's where almost all of his bites yesterday would come.
Get it right there. Calls it a reaction rod. Yeah, thinking that quick action that little pop gives him.
And it's
That's
not
a
like
big one.
yesterday. He didn't really lean on this spot. He fished his spot for like 90 minutes yesterday. A spot that he stopped actually on the way in to check in on day number 1, the last 45 minutes.
She's a giant, dude. She is a giant.
Did I say that the size was not here this morning?
No.
Let's try not to suck.
So many
okay?
words. Yeah, yeah.
We can do that on .com, just not when we get to the big show on
Oh, come
ESPN
on, wait.
later.
Hey, I said smallmouth were not going to be a player after day one, and most of the top 10 have over half their fish are smallmouth. So,
Well,
yeah. Fighter fooled me.
I was told there'd be a lake monster.
Hey,
I think you told yourself
Such,
that.
with the Champy Fest today, can we find out what the festivities are possibly later on?
Can we get on that virtual call?
Man.
We're getting it, boy. We're getting it right. We're getting it right.
Gosh, and all of his fish, I mean,
Okay.
gutting
Barely
his
hooked
bait.
down in there, just barely. Pop, perfect. Perfect. Okay, I got some calling to do. Little I didn't know if they was gonna fire at all, and they're firing. They're firing up. So I'm picking off some good ones. I don't want to take time to do this, but I've got to. I got a couple little guys. I don't know the size they are at all. So. Little bro.
All right.
Okay, 209.
Jump the gun a little bit, Z.
I know. Can we go back there? Sorry, I was just excited we have a camera on Corey. You just never know what's going to happen. Corey Johnston, so far, already coming out of the gates firing. This is earlier today. Fishing just outside of the gut and fishing with a topwater bait and a jerk bait. Surprisingly, Corey Johnston, one of the anglers that's been starting up in Missisquoi Bay on the Vermont side, not going there today.
Second biggest limit yesterday, 21 pounds and 8 ounces. We were with him every day last week on the western side of New York. Having a great swing through here.
No doubt we ought to probably see another hooking somebody today.
I was saying, we were watching
Just saying.
Kobe a
only
minute
hope,
ago. Let's
right?
not go to the hospital today. Let's not. We don't have time. Too many fish to catch.
Just we're on a main lake hump, and there's grass all around this hump mixed in with rock. And I'm targeting the very edge of the grass. It seems to be where the bigger ones are. Mixing it up, throwing a jerk bait, a couple different jerk baits depending on how high the grass actually is. One goes about 6-7 foot, one goes about 4 feet. Mixing in a drop shot, top water. And that's kind of my first couple hours in the morning. And then I'm going largemouth fishing here shortly. And ideally, I'd like to leave this spot with 3 3.5s or better. And then go catch some largemouth. I think that's my best bet to catch a couple real big fish.
Well, that's been a common
Yes.
strategy throughout the week, and it doesn't always work out in practice. A lot of guys wind up spending their whole day catching smallmouth because you can get into the right crew of them. You can do very well. First look at David Mullins, Tennessee.
Got him.
Averaging right at 19.5 pounds throughout this tournament, first 2 days.
Golly, what a jump. I could see him sitting over there on top of the boulder, and I didn't know how big he was. I thought it was a small one, and it is not.
David Mullins also fishing up near Rouse's
These
Point.
are the jumpingest smallmouth, I'm telling you.
Stayed there the whole
Never
day
seen anything
yesterday.
like it. Stay down. Stay down.
I don't think we saw a ripple up in the Rouse's Point region or the Inland Sea yesterday.
We'll come back here to you. Stay down.
David Mullins doing a lot of cranking yesterday. Little bit of topwater fishing, not much.
Is he done?
Lost a lot of fish
Try
yesterday.
him right here.
A lot of fish.
Oh. Okay, got him. Yes.
A tiny bit of blood.
Another good one. Daggone right. They showing up this morning. We called a little audible. Said we're not going to go up there and crank till we have to. And that is number 5. Big fish hole.
It's weird seeing David Mullins with a spinning rod.
It's
Without
always-
without a Demiki rig on it.
Back with Kobe Krieger. Caught 22 pounds in this area yesterday on a topwater bait, a little bit with a jerk bait, and said he saw a lot
right here.
bigger ones.
No reason in the world for there not to be. There's one right there. Got it. I didn't know if he had it. The largemouth. What was he doing over there? I would take him. He'd be bigger than one. Oh, there's another great big smallmouth with him. Good God, there's 3 coming with him. Dude, unbelievable. There was a smallmouth right next to this guy that I knew wanted to eat this plug out of his mouth.
Bone-colored Super Spook Junior, something Kobe throws a lot of.
Little bitty
Get into that.
smallmouth's going back. I know that. 212. All right, this is my 3rd biggest fish I got.
God, be hard to weigh them when there's 3 more coming
Yes.
with it.
Oh,
Yes.
come here,
Get
little
it back
bitty
out
fella.
there.
Blackened. I do remember. Yep.
But culling purposes, it's important to get it right
Bye-bye,
today.
Blackie.
Right now, every ounce is going to count.
Dude, I just said there ought to be one right there. And he bit it. Dude, that smallmouth was 2 inches.
Man, they're biting. They're biting.
It's turned on. Look how calm it is out there.
Chad Pipkins in the background. And really, anything over 3.5 pounds is
Might be a big one,
what
dude.
Seth is after
Feels
before
like
he
a
goes
bass.
largemouth fishing.
It's a
Said he will
bass.
put the throttle down today on largemouth, not
got
backing
buddies.
off.
I don't know how big he is, though. Yeah, he's definitely got buddies. He's pulling like he's big. Doesn't look that big. Sorry.
33%.
I don't think he's that bad. I got him in the bottom of the chin somehow. That's why he's pulling so hard. He's decent. Yes, sir. That's a nice one. I don't know how I hooked him there. 3-pounder. It's 5. Not quite a lima. 6-pounder, 5-pounders limas, 4-pound smallies, I guess.
Get a good look at that.
I mean, you're at such an advantage when you can catch them. And this right here is my drop shot. That's a fish right there that's underneath the boat. But this is what we're looking for. If you can, I'm turning this trolling motor. See here, this is 20 feet out. I got a big boulder right here. And a lot of times what happens, you'll see just one dot, maybe 2 dots on top of that, and that'll be a smallmouth hanging on that boulder. And I pan this way, and you can see it's completely flat, no structure. I pan back, here's your rock pile. And, you know, it's such an advantage if you have it, because every fish I've caught this morning, I've seen 30 to 60 feet away from the boat, and you can get on top of them, or you can cast them before you get the boat on top of them. So if they're boat shy, you can really wear them out. It's such an advantage when you come to smallmouth lakes. Just that tool it's changed my fishing. I mean, the grass fish I'm catching, even shallow up there on the crankbait, I'm seeing those edges with this live scope, and that's how I'm catching them. So it's just a great tool, especially for up north. I got one up there. Y'all, no. 4-pounder. But it's a great tool, and it doesn't keep them coming off. Come on, man. But anyway, there's your live scope tip of the day right there. Not landing tip of the day. But it's just, like I said, it's a big advantage when you can see them way out there long before you get the boat on top of them. And I caught an audible this morning. Those cranking fish, I didn't really catch them early yesterday. Really started catching them about noon to 3. And so I was like, I've got some good deep stuff. They didn't really show up on it the first day, so I was like, let's go back out here and explore. And it's been a good decision. If we'd landed that one right there, it'd been a real good decision, because we'd have a good bag. We'd already have 18 something right there with that one fish. So, this is one big fish spot. Everything I've hooked here, I hooked one here in practice, 4-pounder. I hooked one here the first day, 4-pounder, and there's another big one. That's a big one. Come on, stay hooked. No, not a big one, 3-pounder. Man, daggone it. Daggone it. I thought it was gonna be a giant. I couldn't move him at first, the hook set. He's not gonna help. Man, this thing's fine. That's not what we want. That's the smallest fish I've caught here. That's not gonna help us.
Spider hooked up. No, excuse me, Johnson, Corey Johnston.
Fishing just outside of the gut.
One with it too.
It's an exhausting lake.
Oh.
It really is. Every morning of this tournament, especially yesterday, look for the same thing, if not more, today on Lake Champlain. Corey Johnson looks like he's fishing right outside of the gut.
There's another camera boat out there. If you could just show that to them. He's in that orange shirt over there to your right. To your right. There you go. Oh, he's not even looking.
Oh, all right.
We got a photo shoot going on out here.
Yeah. Hey, can you show it to those guys that aren't looking? Well, I'm just kidding. Both sides of the gut getting some action. Inside, on the inland sea side with Mullins, and then Corey on the outside.
Here we go. 2. It was small.
Gonna bite it. Here we go. These might bite it. They're swimming down to it. Yep, he got it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That is absolutely incredible.
Be a big one. It'll call that too, but still not very big. But there's a good example. Those fish are 45 feet out, and I watched him eat it.
It's one thing having good electronics, it's another thing knowing how to use good electronics.
Lose the 4 and catch the 3.
Yeah, and it's a real benefit to us when these guys are good at explaining to us how they use it and how they're good at it. And that was a good job by David Mullins.
I don't even know if he'll go 3. He'd be close. There was 3 or 4 sitting there. I don't know if he'll call out that one. Broke off my weight. I think he'll call that one. Pretty sure. This place is a game of ounces, though. I know I don't need these at the end of the day, but we'll just check him out. Plenty of extra ice over here if I need it. It could be. Oh, he come off.
Wow. Happened. That was a big one. God. Didn't even move him when I set into him. That's a big one. No. 3. Oh God, look at them all with it. Oh, that was stupid. God. Idiot. Oh, they're loaded out here. Oh, that was stupid.
Gosh, it looks like they're on different lakes and they're only really about 4.5 miles apart.
That's incredible.
Kobe a little bit further north.
Got him.
Corey.
Got
Kobe
him.
a little further north.
Whoa.
Dang.
Date. Dang, damn it.
Good.
Well, that sucked.
There's one. I'm gonna have to fight this one up because there's a lot of big cabbage here. It's a bass. He didn't look big when I first saw him, but he's pulling out. Oh yeah, it's a nice one.
If you look over Seth's shoulder right there, that's actually where Kobe is fishing. From that far point.
Oh yeah, freaking big one, dude. He's super green still, but he's hooked good. Stay on, baby. Stay on. Stay on, stay on, stay on. Come here, come here, come here. Please, please, please. God dang it. God dang it. Come on. Yes, sir. Yeah. That's a nice one, dude.
Dead calm and cranking.
That's
and mauling them.
Man, oh man, the more you're hooking up with, the more you're going to lose. But you look at Hartman, you look at Fighter, those guys are the ones who have been landing just about 95% of it.
Ahead of schedule for Seth Fighter and Jamie Hartman early this morning. Wow.
Almost back in a virtual tie.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
That was an impressive opening half hour
You
for
look
our
like
show.
It looks like you're seeing the same footage over and over and over.
There's a big one. That's the ones we need. 4 more of these, baby. Yes. There's a 4-pounder for you.
Gosh.
Don't need to weigh him.
You can get used to it. You don't want to take it for granted because it is so good.
Do me a favor. Get a cup of coffee and bunker in for a while.
You're gonna. If you need a fish catching fix, you're gonna get fixed today. That's for sure. Especially this morning, Jamie Hartman taking the lead now in a virtual tie with Seth Fighter, just about where it was most of the day yesterday with Krieger, Mullins, Corey Johnston, the ones giving chase right now. Man, oh man, we're gonna get back to this. We'll take a break and be right back.
The Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain is being brought to you live by Skeeter Boats.
What do a taco and a taco truck have in common? Nothing. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
Your time on the water is precious. You return season after season to make unforgettable memories. Fight a few fish, reconnect with friends, and recenter yourself. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters stay with Yamaha for the long run, for life. They know reliability starts here.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Mercury, go boldly.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work. Getting you to that fishing spot is key. And Bully Dog gets your truck road ready. No matter where, we give you the horsepower and towing torque right when you need it. We make getting there better. Make your ride a Bully Dog.
You don't know their names yet, but you will.
When I'm on the road for work or for fun, I always like to have a reliable generator around. This open frame inverter from Champlain is ideal because it's lighter than a standard open frame generator and more affordable than a traditional inverter. The remote start helps me start up the generator or shut it off without having to leave my camper. It provides essential power for things like charging my boat batteries, also makes life a lot more comfortable for myself and my family.
Introducing the Bass U TV app. Get the most out of your Bass U TV subscription and learn on the go with the Bass U TV app. Unlimited access to 700 plus training videos. Multiple new releases each week, including seminars, on-water videos, live shows, interviews, and other original content. The Bass U TV app. Never stop learning.
Pre-collision system, standard, on the 2020 Tacoma, so you can go from one epic playground to the next. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
The Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain is brought to you by Power Pole, Skeeter Boats, Yamaha, and by Toyota.
A good Saturday morning to you. We've had to ramp it up really quick here on our Bassmaster Live this morning because they are absolutely catching them one after the other here. 40 anglers out on the lake in legendary Lake Champlain. That's the way the leaderboard, the top 10 as it stands right now. The top 10 at the end of the day will be the ones who fish for the trophy tomorrow, Sunday out there, Championship Sunday. And you look at Fighter and Hartman, 1 and 2. Most of the time yesterday it was like that. They're about 2 pounds clear of the rest of it. That doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a good separation from the field right there. It is hard. You can't run away, and it's hard to move the needle out here because they are all catching them, and the size is so uniform, really, relatively, throughout the lake. You've got to find the big one.
Hard to use this word, but easy to catch 3-pounders. Consistent on 3.5s, hard to get past that 4-pound average here.
Great way to put it.
Yes.
It's just
always has been. Always has. Decades. That is a staple on Lake Champlain.
We saw that with over 475 fish for the full field. The average fish caught was a 3-pound, 5-ounce fish. Wow. Back-to-back days.
Certainly back in the game now here at Lake Champlain is Scott Canterbury, last year's Angler of the Year, the leader coming into our New York swing.
Nope, still a little guy.
And really what's been interesting in this tournament, a lot of fish obviously caught on that north flat towards Rouse's Point. The inland sea, though, really has been the most consistent for the deeper, better built smallmouth, which is consistent with history on this lake.
Oh, the flipping.
Really what's under Scott Canterbury's boat off the north side and east side of that Gull Island shoal is a lot of isolated rubble, boulders, but a lot of that deep perch grass, that real short perch grass. But there's not much contour off of that exact shoal that he's on right there.
Still a little.
To where like Micah Frazier, Brandon Polinick fishing a lot closer to the deeper basin of the inland sea. It's a lot flatter. It's deep, 20 to 25 feet of water here, but it's a lot flatter on this side of the inland sea compared to that eastern side.
We're not getting many bites and not getting any size right now. Probably a 2-pounder, probably.
The other side of what guys are going to run into in the championship Sunday that they've not had to deal with during this event. This event, you can get around fast on that northern region of the lake. You can bounce back and forth from.
They're getting right over on my juice. Just caught one.
Oh boy. Oh boy. The juice. But the guys that from New York to Vermont back and forth, you're able to bounce back and forth easily the last 2 days. Today, you're going to be able to do that. It'll be a lot harder to do tomorrow. It will be time consuming, which is one of the things you don't want to get involved with on this lake.
It's like a north and a south wind are the worst two
Yes.
winds, and I don't even think it's ever blown at Champlain from the east or the west. It only blows from the north or the south. And bad.
And it's supposed to be straight south building. I heard you talk about it, Such, all day tomorrow. I want to see where that juice is at.
A little bit better.
What are you?
I don't know.
Not much, but a little bit.
Nothing steep
Ah,
where he's
dang
at.
it, he come off.
A lot
Not
flatter.
close,
Not
Last
close.
week I've lost.
Wow.
Like that. It's a 3-pounder.
Jeez.
He wasn't that big, but it's a 3-pounder.
No, there's a high spot over Canterbury's left shoulder. Comes up actually shallow, a lot of grass on it.
Where'd he come off?
But there's just a lot of 18 to call it 24 feet of water. It's not, there's not a lot of contour. It's not steep.
A little bitty one, of course. And he couldn't have come off in 2 days.
Tell me, we are getting some viewer questions. You promoted 937 times. We are on ESPN2 today.
Yes, we
Correct?
are.
Okay.
Starting noon Eastern time. Yep. Right there, right all the way to the weigh-in.
It's not like it's been a secret.
No, we
about
pretty much talked people's ear off about that. Everyone in America's ear off. And happy to mention it some more, and will.
I would hope so. Because I get confused at times. I truly do, as well as Ron
It's
Moore.
just such a random thing. They could be anywhere.
Oh, heavens.
Since it's so calm, they can come from a long ways to hit anything you're throwing. Come on, big boy.
Kobe Krieger from Florida. I heard Ron Moore talk about in the pre-show on Facebook. Great sight fisherman, but one of the best topwater fishermen on the Elite Series. Has had a rough few years. I've grown up.
Yeah, I think I did hurt my knee, to be honest with you. The good Lord. The big boy should know not to jump.
Actually grew up fishing with Kobe in our teens and early 20s. And he will lock a topwater bait in.
Commit.
All day. He will do an all-day show.
Hopefully the fish have had a meeting.
Dave
decided
Mercer
to eat
mentioned it yesterday at weigh-in.
over the top of their head.
Kobe Krieger not only fished last week at St. Lawrence River, but because of COVID and some of the regulations and service crews haven't been as readily available as usual, Kobe Krieger actually was turning some wrenches to help other elite pros with stuff that was broken on their boat or not or
Yeah, a
needed
couple guys
fixing.
mentioned him helping.
He is literally one of the most handy pros on the elites.
And really, Kobe, back in the day when we fished regional tournaments, when we, opens, ever starts, Kobe's one of those people that hangs out in the service yard. So you have 3 decades of maintenance knowledge in that brain right there. And he helped, as you said it, I helped the Johnstons out last week.
It's about time for one to crack that thing, isn't it?
I just want to stare at it.
Oh, well, this morning has been okay. I got 5 in the box. I think I had 2 other opportunities to catch, what we call fish you want to weigh in, 4-pounders. Jumped that one off, it was probably 3 3/4. And had another one, pretty good one, blow up on my spook that didn't get it. So you just don't really seem to be eating it real good this morning yet. Had a lot of them boil it one time up underneath it and didn't come back. I've only had one hit it multiple times. Didn't end up catching fin either, so they're got a little bit of a funk going on yet this morning, just yet. But I think every day it seems like for whatever reason, you know, I don't know, 10 o'clock on, 10 to 1, 10 to 2 has seemed to be when they really bite better for some reason. I was hoping this morning to start here and do a little bit better than what I got. But, you know, I got a lot better start this morning than I had yesterday. So I'll keep chucking my spook around for a while. For a long time, I'm gonna go hit some shallow points. I've caught them in the past here. Haven't really fished a lot of stuff like this until yesterday when it slicked off, and I only fished 2 spots. And both spots that I fished, I had, you know, some success at, so that's a good thing. Here's one, chasing a bug. So we're gonna keep doing this for a while. And then my one flat I got over there that I've caught several fish on. Seems like later in the day you go over there and you'll catch a rogue 4-pounder every now and then. So we're gonna do this until it doesn't work in different places, and then we're gonna go throw a jerkbait.
Sounds good. If the best is yet to come, I'll buy into that.
Yeah,
in.
Exactly.
For that, it's still in all. Let's take a look at what Kobe's been able to do out there so far today.
Exactly right. Caught this on a follow-up bait, one that hit his topwater bait. And Kobe Krieger, talk to you a little bit about his topwater fishing for smallmouth. You have a lot of history in that brain doing that. He does not overthink it. It is a Super Spook Junior collarbone, all he throws. The other side is a lot of these shallower fish, he's catching a lot of these topwater fish in 5 foot of water and less, generally have a lot better aim in shallow water on a topwater bait. We talked about it yesterday, when you're throwing a topwater bait for smallmouth from 8 to 20 feet of water, they got a lot of room to charge that bait and their aim gets off. They hit it violently, but a lot of times they miss it. When you're up shallow with a topwater bait for smallmouth, there's a lot better chance of that hookup ratio. And like you said, Tommy Sanders, if the best is yet to come, I am all in on that.
Yes.
Kobe Krieger, if you're just joining our broadcast, said he saw way more than he put on the scales on day number 2, which was a giant bag.
That's great. Good news. The veteran here having his best tournament of the year by far.
Needed it.
Yeah. Had a slow start to the year, but man, he's making up some ground here this week.
With his
Had him on Bassmaster Live.
third place points today, he's climbed in the AOY standings from 79th to 44th. 35 spots
that's significant.
One event.
You know, I heard Ron Moore talk about earlier, we're talking about guys that were rising up, the Johnston brothers.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of guys while up in New York have crumbled down the standings.
Off a cliff.
Crumbled.
I don't think that it's beyond us mentioning somebody like that, John Cruz, somebody who was 10th or 11th in points after Eufaula, a second place at
second place St. John's,
St.
was
John's.
17th, 50th. Now after this one, 64.
Yeah, from 11th or 12th in points to 64th.
And you want to be near that 40 cut.
That's what we were talking about
for the
yesterday.
Bassmaster Classic.
Normally the smallmouth events are event 7 or 8, 9 of the season, but they are 3, 4, 5 this year, and so we're going to see a weird hodgepodge of southern and northern anglers at the top, and then other guys having to use that fall bite to catch up.
We're not spread out yet either. Krieger's 44th. Their classic line is about 40th usually, but he's 7 points from dropping 7 places.
Wow.
So it's tight right there right now.
It's really bizarre to be that safely #1 in the Classic, and then all of these guys do it, whether they say they don't. Corey Johnston hooked up. That you got a potential shot at making a run at Angler of the Year, and then you find yourself in the bottom 15% after 2 events.
Hard to get your head around
yes.
how you're going to climb out of that.
Especially for those who maybe haven't caught him in the 3 of the 4 events that are down in the bottom 15%.
But the fall schedule's all new for everybody. Not many people have fished in the fall, though. Like Scott Canterbury told me, I love fall fishing. Stetson Blaylock, same thing. Rick Clunn, same.
Skinny.
Corey Johnston. Corey live well already.
Better if I caught that fish right there, but I'm pretty pleased with it. I mean, I got 3 good fish, and I got 2 small ones, and I've got 16 pounds, so they're both 2-pounders. So if I can get rid of them, we'll be looking real good today. So I gotta poke a couple more big fish. Hopefully do that in a meaningful time period today, and I will be really happy. I'm happy with the start, though. I mean, I had 16 pounds in the first hour and hour and 15 minutes, so I'm definitely happy with it. We'll keep plugging, dude. We'll keep plugging. I think if we keep this ripple on the water, we'll be okay. But I got so much more stuff to fish that way, so hopefully they cooperate today.
All right, take a look at Jamie Hartman. His morning, as he said, he's just got 2 he needs to replace, and he's done his work for today. Be right there on that 20-pound average that he is where he's lived for this tournament.
And we talked about this yesterday. Over his left-hand shoulder in that last shot, there's a boat ramp and another boat ramp over his right-hand shoulder with a series of cabins that a lot of our anglers, sad to say, that are watching this broadcast, probably stayed this week where this load of smallmouth was about 200 yards off the shore in front of where you were lodging.
That's kind of getting your face rubbed in it a little bit, isn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Jamie Hartman with a, as we said, Ultra Vibe style soft plastic crawdad on his Carolina rig. Don't want to get into the exacts of that quite yet, and I think I actually just did.
It's got a speedy vibe to it.
Hey, exactly. That's one of the things in Ultra Vibe speed craw, not getting into specifics again, or a 6-inch lizard is a big-time Carolina rig bait here on Lake Champlain. Bassmaster Live?
Yes, thank you.
No, that was a question.
Oh, yes, yes, absolutely. Hey, we got something good coming up right now. Very pertinent to what we're looking at. The B&W trailer hitch is on the line. We love that feature here.
I do love it.
We get some extra
I don't like
info.
it, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. We get some extra info on Jamie Hartman. On the line, Davey Height's been right there with Jamie all day long. David, do you see anything different today about what Jamie's doing? Is there any way he could possibly fall off his horse here? He seems to be just absolutely right in the groove.
Well, he really is. The one thing that I noticed different, Tommy, was it took him longer today to get what he needed before he left there. You know, he stopped there, made 3 casts. The final place that he stopped on day 1, caught a 4-pounder and left. He said, normally big ones don't live on this particular spot. I've fished it for a number of years. I think he said 8 or 9 years he'd been fishing that. And it's always largemouth, but there's a school of smallmouth that's using that point right now. And Jamie leaned on him a little bit yesterday, but he left with about 18.5 pounds. This morning it took him longer. They were slower, but still using that Carolina rig. His landing percentage has been super. That's been a big thing. You see some of these other anglers throwing top waters, throwing jerk baits, throwing crankbaits, even drop shots. You seem to lose more fish, but that's been a big key for Jamie to not lose many fish over there at all. I left Jamie, came over here to the other side of the lake, and Corey Johnson throwing a jerk bait, saw him lose a big one immediately, but he's got a good bag, so that's something that really can mount up on you, because for some reason it's not just a fish tail. The big ones get away, you know, lose a 4-pounder, catch 3 or 4 3-pounders, and every ounce is so critical here on Lake Champlain. We're going to see that. One thing, the weather coming in, I've talked to a bunch of these anglers, they're going to lean on them today. Yesterday, guys were still saving the fish, knowing that they had 2 more days of fish, but with the weather coming in tomorrow, a lot of these guys know they better try to get all they can today, because it'll be very difficult to move around tomorrow.
Davey, real quick on that exact note with the weather, really the slowest day of this tournament, slowest morning of this tournament is when we had some cloud cover and really just a little bit of wind on day 1. Tomorrow we're looking at a lot of cloud cover and gassing south winds. What do you look for to transpire tomorrow, maybe that we have not seen the entire event?
Well, I think some guys will be using jerk baits that have been using top water. You know, the top water fishing, these big smallmouth, when we have these calm conditions like we've had the last 2 days, you're going to see a guy like Kobe Krieger. Heck, I fished against him 20 years ago here. He was throwing that same spook. I mean, he's really good at it, but you need these calmer conditions. What will they transition to? Kobe's been throwing a jerk bait a little bit. Guys that are flipping grass, flipping in those marinas, they're somewhat protected, but I think you'll see them change baits. Carolina rig, you can be pretty effective with the wind blowing, but you'll see a change in bait, and you'll see you've got to make the right decisions, because some of these guys will stop and fish an area like a Jamie Hartman, and then he runs 10, 15 miles to his next location, and it takes him only 10 or 15 minutes. Tomorrow, it could take him 30 or 45 minutes to make that same run. So the right choices on the right places, and maybe a change in baits.
Davey, real quick, I want to actually rewind and talk about how guys practice this lake, either practice it right or practice it wrong. Talk about how guys get in a region of this lake, not for just 1 day of practice, where they really find multiple areas in one region of the lake instead of going to Ty, going to Missisquoi Bay another day, then in the Inland Sea, to where they really condense their area compared to spreading themselves totally out throughout practice.
Yeah, it's so tough to do, Z. This place is so big, and when I come to Lake Champlain, I would absolutely have to spend at least 1 day at Ty, and a lot of these anglers did. So then you spend a day, because I don't think anyone's down there today. So you spent 1 day of your 2.5 days of practice, so then you have a day and a half to try to fish the lake, which is virtually impossible. So you have to go on history, whether you do research. A lot of these guys, it's the first time being here on Lake Champlain, or just history like a Kobe Krieger. Like I said, the area he's in, the bait he's throwing, I know he was doing it 20 years ago because I was right around with him throwing top water. So you would think it'd be a big advantage to guys that have a lot of history, but man, you can research so much online. You can, Bassmaster.com, you can learn so much just on the internet now, where you couldn't do that years ago. But your time at practice, those 2.5 days on a place like this, or where we just left, St. Lawrence and Lake Ontario, so important to use that time efficiently.
Davey, good stuff. Thank you so very much. We'll be back with Davey very soon out there, and a guy with super experience here, fishing alongside Kobe Krieger, who we just saw land a pretty solid smallmouth yet again.
Exactly right. Kobe's been catching a few on a follow-up bait, backing up his topwater bait.
312, baby.
That's one of the problems that a new angler to Lake Champlain can get into, wanting to fish too many regions in practice, instead of saying, I'm going to spend my 3 days of practice on this north flat near Rouse's Point. and learn a bunch of areas. Or I'm going to do that same game plan over on the inland seaside to where you might look at Ticonderoga one day, then the next day you go to Missisquoi Bay, and then the inland sea on your third day of practice. Here's what's happened. You don't have enough time to dissect one of those central regions.
You know those guys are working on that very math in their head right now, especially the two at the top. And boy, that's a familiar sight at the top of that leaderboard. Hartman Fighter back and forth for the last couple of days of fishing at the very least. Krieger doing good work today. Did great work yesterday. Had the biggest limit yesterday. David Mullins lost a few fish, but he's been doing that all along. Hey, we'll take a break. We'll be right back to Lake Champlain.
The Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain is being brought to you live by Skeeter Boats.
I'm pro angler Andy Montgomery. I've been making my living with Strike King products for a long time. So when they showed me the new tour grade line, I was all in. I knew I could trust it. What I didn't know was how easy it was to use. With the spooling tool and the prepaid envelope to recycle your old line included in every single box. Not only is it the best line on the market, it gives you the easiest fishing experience possible. Find out more at StrikeKing.com.
You don't know their names yet, but you will.
Sign up to compete in the inaugural Hook Bassmaster BASS Nation Kayak Series, powered by Tourney X, presented by Abu Garcia in 2020. The trail features 5 regular season events, with a championship to be held in conjunction with the 2021 Academy Sports and Outdoors Bassmaster Classic, presented by Hook. The first tournament will be at Logan Martin Lake in Pell City, Alabama on March 5th, in conjunction with the 50th Bassmaster Classic. To find out more details and to register, visit bassmaster.com/kayak.
At Mercury, we invested thousands of hours of engineering manpower so you can enjoy hours and hours of untapped horsepower. Introducing the all-new V6 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly. At Mercury, there are no limits to what we'll do to make sure you have no limits either. Introducing the all-new V8 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly.
The season is starting and it's time for you to bring it. Pit your knowledge against friends and fans everywhere in Rapala Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing. It's free and it starts by signing up. Then pick your 5-angler team for each event. Grand prize winner gets a Bass Pro Shop shopping spree, cash, and Rapala prize pack. Plus new opportunities including $4,000 worth of prizes for each individual event winner. Plus another $500 if you're a Bass member. Total value for the season is $90,000. Sign up today and start bringing it at BassmasterFantasy.com.
For over 70 years and 19 consecutive NMMA Consumer Satisfaction Awards, Skeeter continues to set the standard. And now, through October 19th, you can fall into savings with rebates of up to $1,500 on the FXR Limited, up to $2,500 on the FXR Apex, and double rebates of up to $3,000 on the ZX250. Fall into savings now through October 19th. Visit your local dealer or SkeeterBoats.com and fall into savings on the Skeeter boat of your dreams.
This reel allows you to cover more water, make more casts,
giving you more opportunities to catch more fish. The new Revo Rocket, Abu Garcia for life.
You're watching the Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain, being brought to you live by Skeeter Boats.
We got 5 more hours of Bassmaster Live for you today. We just completed our first hour. It seemed, wonderful. Completely packed with fish catching. We'll be here on the app and on Bassmaster.com, of course, for the next 2 hours. Okay. Then at noon Eastern Time, we crank it up over on the ESPN2 as well, so we're very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, well, you've helped out a lot
That's
with this
straight
whole,
up. When both hands are straight up, that's when we go into
this
ESPN2.
whole pan thing on our times. And I'm going to tell you, the clearer you've made our times, the more you've confused me. I know. You've made
how does that work?
Problem. You've made it too clear the entire week.
My bad. Try to avoid that in the future. Take a look at this incredible place, all that wonderful. The vegetation, just the sheer expanse of this place. Lake Champlain is just a mecca. A mecca.
Ooh, back at the
bass
marina
fishing here as we go into Seth Feider. Earliest I think we've seen him hit this little spot right here where he paid us off with a giant yesterday.
I'm going to step in right here with Seth Feider, and yeah, I know what that music means.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You know what it means, Tom?
Yes, sir. That right there.
This is hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
How do you do a power pole replay of the day when it happened yesterday? That's the power pole replay of yesterday. And here's the reason why.
Oh, my God.
Okay? Look at the size of that Lake Champlain inland sea bass.
Oh my God. Oh my God, it's a 6-pounder, dude. Boom! Give me some. Where's Noah? Freaking Kong! Oh my God.
Well, that's how you get a power pole replay of the day 2 days in a row. One of, fair to say, bing bong, one of the biggest largemouth we have ever seen on camera on Lake Champlain in any event we have ever covered here. Such, go ahead.
It's
I was
the Phoenix
finishing
Boats Big Bass. You're not done? Go.
the power pole replay of the day. Go ahead.
Ties. Mike Worm had 2 6-pound 6-ouncers in the first Elite here in 2006. Was it?
That would have been the first Elite here, yeah. What a moment that was.
I honestly think Feider looked over at that dock and said, "I think I saw Champy," and then he set the hook, and that's what came out. So I don't.
Little Champy.
Yeah. You'll have to
Needs
get on that.
another one
You'll have to
on,
get on that
Champ
Zoom
Day.
call today, Such. You have to get on that Zoom call with the Champsters.
Yeah. Seth Feider hooked up. Uh-oh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Looks like a replay, man.
Come on. Ooh. Don't like where he's hooked, but
Got a 2 3/4 is his smallest.
5/8 ounce outcast tackle, stealth fighter jig. Good call.
He's going to be back in the lead.
Yeah.
Money crawl.
Money crawl. Colored money crawl. Seems like Seth fills his bag with a couple of those 3 3/4-ish, but has caught a big one every day of this tournament when he's transitioned to largemouth. And what'll be interesting for our gang at home that is watching this, that has followed this tournament, are we going to see some of those other largemouth areas from Seth Fighter that we saw in years past that we've not seen this time
another good
around.
one. I seen a little bitty bubble come up off the bottom, and this is what made it. That's craziness right there, boys. That's craziness. He's not hooked too good. It's the only bad thing. Oh, yes. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. Hooked better than I thought. Come here, baby. Yeah, baby. We take that one. Yes. Woo. Let me tell you something, boys. Yes. They're down there. Yes. Nice one. Not quite 4-pounder, but he's 3 something. We're gaining on him. We're gaining on him, boys. $3.7.
Mullins hooked up.
Fighter entered his last fish as a 3-pounder. He and Jamie Hartman are tied at 57 pounds, 12 ounces.
Forgot to tighten my drag back down. No.
Kobe used to room with one of our anglers who used to fish the Elite Series, Jacob Brosnick.
Oh, yeah.
You hear some similarities when they're talking.
Yeah.
Really
sort of back here, back in the throat like that.
Let me tell you something, boys. Then he never told us.
Kobe, the veteran from the Michiana
Michiana
area. Speaking
Right.
of which,
Yes.
we did not take the opportunity to wish Louis Stout a happy birthday yesterday.
I didn't even know
70
it was
years
birthday.
old. Yeah, I forgot all about that. I saw that.
You didn't even
I'm
know
sure
it
he
was one of your
celebrated
best
it.
friends'
Okay,
birthdays.
well, good on him.
Hall of Famer.
I always do.
You, Tommy.
Meanwhile, David Mullins hooked up.
Louis has a tendency to have week-long birthday celebrations.
Good.
Yes.
My hero.
He does not look near 70.
Not at all.
No, he does not.
No.
I was
He's
surprised.
the ageless one.
Come here. Oh, no. I got you. All right.
Good one.
Another good one.
Boy, since he has put that
Solid
crankbait
sucker.
down, David Mullins has landed him.
He was 20 feet away from the lure, and I watched him swim as fast as he could to come over there and get it. There we go. I'll call that one for sure. I think
Get him
we'll
up
put
near
on blue.
16.
A good call.
He caught good ones
Now
yesterday
we
as
got
well,
all
but
decent fish.
yeah, without a crankbait, he's still catching plenty of size.
Yes.
His size is there.
I might have to stick that one.
They're all in the 3 to 3.5 pound range. And he's upgrade. Kobe Krieger's
You can
fish.
see this one right here. I don't know if you can see
7
that.
ounces out of the lead.
Wow.
He's got the big
See
bag
this
of the day.
fish
It's
right
17
here?
and a quarter.
See how bloated he is right here? Right. That means his air bladder's full.
Oh,
Okay. So you just take this. Take this, go under that scale. Hear that air coming in?
He was down deep.
Little fizzing lesson there,
Yep.
David Mullins. Essentially, get the fish's equilibrium back after coming from a bit of
Dude,
depth.
I don't get going backwards. I don't, that doesn't comprehend to my fishing where you drop something over the side of the boat and drift backwards and all that current just, it doesn't, I don't know, I just don't get it yet. And it's just sort of a struggle because I'm not a deep water fisherman at all. Never have been, never claimed to be. But on these lakes like this and Lake St. Clair, I sort of grew up on. And even for that matter, out in Lake Ontario when they're up shallow, I mean, I sort of understand that stuff and I get it But when you got to float backwards at 4 miles an hour, dangling something over the side of the boat, it doesn't, I don't know, I just don't understand it. So we're gonna do what I know how to do today, and we'll see what happens.
It was one of the questions I asked Kobe last night, what he was talking about right there, to give some context to that. I said, Kobe, why, you've won on Lake Ontario, but the St. Lawrence River has been horrible to you the last few years that the Elite Series went there. And it was very simple. Kobe's a very simple dude. He said, I cannot comprehend going backwards. The current pushing him backwards. He said, I can't wrap my mind around it. I can't, it's not my gig.
The controlled drift of,
Does not his, and what he said right there, knowing Kobe since he was 17 years old, dude does not like being past 10 feet of water. And if you look at his career, when we've had ledge tournaments, he's got so much history on the Kentucky lakes, but his history of doing well, it's in about waist deep water and shallower.
All practice, so you know what that means. This string's been on here for a little while. Like I told him, when you use good string, you don't have to change your nears often, fellas. I don't know if that's the truth or I'm just lazy. Definitely not lazy, so.
Hey, he explained it right there. He said, you know what I mean? And then he explained what he meant.
Update on the morning. We went smallie fishing for an hour and a half. Got 2 real nice ones, probably 3 3/4, and a couple nice filler 3 1/4, and had one other about 2 3/4. I figured I already had 4 good ones at 8:30, so we pulled the pin, made the run to the largemouth, just got down here. Everything's good so far. The wind's gonna blow at some point, so we got to get on these fish pretty quick. And I already caught one nice largemouth, call out that 2 3/4 pound smallie, and now we're just we need like 2 3 great biggins today, I think. So we're gonna grind on them, see what happens. Everything's looking good though.
Brandon Lester in our top 10 at 7th place, 16.5 today from 31st, and Garrett Paquette is right behind him, jumping from 27th.
Who's the reference that you said, Seth, is starting to look like the golfer?
Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah, Tommy Fleetwood.
Tommy Fleetwood. I'm going to tell you who else.
And Fleetwood Mac.
You ready? I don't know about that at all,
Mad
actually.
bluegill or something.
He's starting to get a little bit of crusty Kid Rock look.
Oh,
right there?
Yeah.
I could see it like at takeoff.
Yeah.
Say
when it
Joe
waves
Dirt.
early. No, if we're being 100% serious, definitely Roadhouse. I mean,
Yeah, there is. That flat that Kobe's fishing on the New York side.
It might have been that little white and blue guy.
Very, very shallow. You're only looking at 3.5 to call it. Maybe deeper side of that point is about 6 foot of water mixed in grass, boulders, a lot of sand, and that's what we talk about on smallmouth. Finding areas where you have that mix, not just rock, not just grass, but those 3 combinations. You get sand, rubble, and grass. That's really what you're hunting on all of these smallmouth bodies of water up shallow.
Micah Frazier's back in 5th where he started. But slow mornings for Brock Mosley and Scott Canterbury, though.
He swam around it a couple times. Why didn't eat it?
Looked like a good one on the graph.
rock bass.
Little dude was out there yesterday, wasn't he?
Is that Noah?
No, was in the boat.
No, we saw him yesterday. We saw that kid too.
Give
He
his
was
name.
fishing too. He was fishing yesterday, just like he is today.
Bet he's fishing a little harder yesterday. Seeing that 6'6" getting plucked out from one of his pontoon boats.
He had some competition in there.
Yes.
He did.
There was another big one on there when I was doing that.
Is this the longest the entire event we haven't had a fish catch?
It may be. That's a minute 15 seconds. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's another 4-pounder. I don't know why he didn't eat the tube. He went over and looked at it a little bit. Thought he was going to get it.
Do you remember the bracket tournament with Kobe and
Yes.
Borosnik?
Well, very well.
Yeah.
Niagara.
Current there. He had to deal with some current there.
Which showed
Those aren't the
his
ones.
struggle.
He doesn't like it.
It was
That's bad.
it was a drama. The drama extraordinaire.
For everybody at home that did get to follow that tournament, it was at the Niagara River. It is fair to say, it was, in all of our time working together, Tommy, the most awkwardly painful, great footage I've ever covered with you.
It was like a train wreck you couldn't stop watching.
We would go to commercial breaks and come, and at we don't talk about what we say during commercial breaks. It was heaven.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't on the Bassmaster Live crew yet. That was the next year when I moved to Little Rock, but I was actually on my honeymoon during the bracket. So
you would have enjoyed it.
Yeah,
You should have gone to Niagara Falls.
I only got to watch a little bit of it on the way home in traffic. So
You sent us a picture on your honeymoon of you watching Bassmaster Live.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, hashtag weird.
That's how we did it right there. Put the rod in the pole holder.
Somebody was laying down for a Krieger and he couldn't catch, like he needed 1 pound fish. And he had to rough go getting it. So he finally got it.
It was.
That's gonna be a grind, man. Fine though. Most of the little ones should be.
He was the only one of the 8 anglers who needed the classic berth. The other The other 7 were all inside the classic
That's
cup.
right. It was a tournament to get.
It was such a weird
into the class.
It was such a weird event. We had other oddball events, like some of those postseason
a little bit. Yeah,
but it made it fun.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed after that Niagara. Nobody went over the falls. I was nothing we missed. Actually, something did fall over the falls that week. A boat did.
It's not the fact
Well,
that
I've
these
seen enough fish up
bites
here
are
this
getting
morning.
farther and few between right now. I'm not having fun. I want to have fun. I want to swing this flipping stick. That's what I want to do. I want to swing it a lot today.
Jamie Hartman grew up around Oneida, but a lot of his regional wins have come here on Champlain, and the majority of those really largemouth. And talking to Jamie Hartman the night before competition began, he was very uncomfortable, very uneasy with his practice.
Really?
Where I don't think a lot of these guys really knew what they were on or lack thereof. But the Ticonderoga factor really being taken out of this tournament made it a lot easier to say, heck with it, I'm going to fish, you know, the Rouse's Point Flat or the Inland Sea, to where every time we've come here, I guess what I'm saying is every time we've come here, there's always, Ticonderoga's always somewhere in the back of your mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's,
what's happening down there?
If I have a bad first day or something like that, okay, maybe I'll just go down there. And we saw an angler do that. Drew Benton was one of those anglers that just missed our cut, that gambled yesterday, failed. He went down there, caught 2 little bass, had to come up here with only 2 hours left and almost made the cut. And now Drew Benton's driving somewhere saying, why didn't I just play it safe and just stay up there, you know?
I think Kyle Monty was the highest Ticonderoga finisher, just outside the cut, 43rd or so. Yeah. Bill Lowen, a shallow water, one of the best shallow water anglers, went to tie both days, finished next to last. That's crazy.
Tells you how off it was.
Yes.
Really, really bad.
A lot of grinding, a lot of doing the math, a lot of figuring out the plan for this day, for the next day. You know, we're just about out of the first 3 hours of day number 3 right here. Getting closer and closer to the end, but a lot of fishing between then and now. Be back to Lake Champlain here on day 3 in just a minute.
The Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain is being brought to you live by Skeeter Boats.
Wherever the trail gets rough and the mud gets deep, you'll find a Toyota Tacoma. It's the best-selling compact pickup in America for 12 years. And it's not because we baby them. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma. What do a taco and a taco truck have in common? Nothing. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
If you love bass fishing, then show your support by joining BASS today. With your membership, you'll receive every issue of Bassmaster magazine, plus $50 in free gear, including a membership tackle bag, BASS cap, plus more. Click now on this video to join today.
Fish and win with Skeeter Real Money. Fish out of your Skeeter boat, win a Skeeter approved contingency paying event, and you could add $5,000 to your winnings. Just enter, fish, and win. It's that easy. Rules and conditions apply. Visit SkeeterBoats.com and click the Real Money logo to register and learn more, or visit your local Skeeter dealer. Fish, win, get paid. Up to $5,000. Go to SkeeterBoats.com and see why now is the best time to enter, fish, and win with Skeeter Real Money.
You don't know their names yet, but you will.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work. Getting you to that fishing spot is key, and Bully Dog gets your truck road ready. No matter where, we give you the horsepower and towing torque right when you need it. We make getting there better. Make your ride a Bully Dog.
Your time on the water is precious. You return season after season to make unforgettable memories. Fight a few fish, reconnect with friends, and recenter yourself. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters stay with Yamaha for the long run, for life. They know reliability starts here.
If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
The Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain is brought to you by Humminbird, Mercury, Minn Kota, and by Talon.
Right now we are pushing into the second quarter, if you will, of today's game. And of course the goalpost for today's game is going to be to wind up in that top 10 at the end of the day this 2020. Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain. We've had some fellows drop out of the top 10 and replaced by others. It's going to be a big push. You got to be in that top 10 if you want to fish tomorrow. Championship Sunday. Hartman fighter at the top of the leaderboard, but we've had some guys gain access to this top 10 in the last 30 minutes or so. Keep an eye on that leaderboard throughout the day. It's so important, of course. It won't be settled till we get to the weigh-in at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Seth Fighter now. I'm going to make a little earlier move than usual to this marina that's been pretty good to him.
You just feel like something, it's eerily similar to the last 2 days with Seth Fighter. You just feel like lightning is going to strike any second in this marina. Oh, whoa.
Biggin.
Wow.
Ain't that big, but. Nice one. Not that big. I don't even think he'll help. I don't think he's gonna make the team. Whoa,
careful
bud.
now. Hey.
Time to weigh him.
Good save.
See what we got.
Smallster, a pair of
That was a
3-pounders.
4-pounder when I first saw it.
Seth Fighter not sure that one's going to give him any sort of an upgrade at all. Again, we got him in a statistical tie right now with Jamie Hartman. Hard fought, good competition. I mean, close competition this week on Champlain.
Getting a good look at how low that water is. See that grass over Seth's head right there. A lot of these marinas, one of the things that have made them really good. This one doesn't have a lot of deep water actually cutting into it.
Flipping a little patch of milfoil here. And I've been getting some decent fish out of it. No real big ones, but some 3.5. So I'm just hoping that there's a couple of those 3.5s left. And then just hunt for a big one.
A lot of those marinas, especially the one Seth's in though, it's where really the grass doesn't grow. Corey Johnston hooked up.
A little better.
And under those docks and those boats, there's virtually hardly any grass at all.
Man, this is fun on the big stick.
And that's an area right there Corey Johnston's in that will have protection tomorrow, an area in between New York and Vermont.
Going to gain some. He's part of a pound there, not a full pound.
Kind of just go over that bait real quick for us.
It's the one right there. It's a little beat up now, but Punisher 9/16 flipping jig. Thing does some damage everywhere you go.
The meat on the hook. That's a bad man right there. I said that about his brother last week. Guys do work.
Oh, gosh.
They were not in the best of spirits after St. John's, Chickamauga, way down in our standings. I'm sorry, yes, Eufaula.
They were 68th and 73rd after Eufaula, I believe.
Corey was 79th, 73rd, yeah. And then St. Lawrence, they jumped into the 50s. Corey, Chris was 44th with his win. And now, right now, before this thing is complete and they can finalize the standings, 26th for Corey and 35th for Chris. Inside.
All right, look at the beautiful skies right there. I just can't get enough of those stats. That's I'm a hog for him, but we haven't had a chance to check in with Dave Mercer today. It's been a beautiful week. As Corey gets hooked up again, we'll get back to that one. I'm sure Dave's interested in that. What are you interested in this morning? What's catching your attention, Dave?
Hey, guys, we had a front row seat to the Brandon Lester show, which wasn't really far from Corey. And Brandon Lester, 17 pounds, and got him quick. Watching those, we had 3 boats in that same area, and watching how they worked that reef, basically, different areas of the reef. Lester in closer to the saddle, closer to shore, and Corey was out a little further. But Lester said to me, this one's a little different just because normally you have your place, where you catch them. But the problem is when you're fishing for smallmouth bass, they don't know that, and the place can change throughout the day. He said he generally gets them really, really good in the morning, and then they start to move out, and those guys start catching them. And as we've saw, his prediction was about right. But Brandon Lester has a good start, 17 pounds inside the top 10, and a lot of time to call up.
Dave, you get to see the reactions of a lot of our anglers, and we talked about really the separation between the haves and the have-nots here, and it's not that big of a gap. Guys that caught 3-pound averages to guys that really caught 3.5-pound averages that are still fishing. Was there a lot of guys that, in your opinion, that fished this event that were blown away after the day 1 and 2 weigh-in on not getting it done?
Yes. I'll be honest. We talked about it last night at dinner. I was like, did you notice a lot of the guys that didn't make the cut were a little more grumpy than normal? And really that just comes down to the fact that everybody was close. I mean, this tournament, I say it on the stage all the time, and I really believe it. The most important thing here is your ability to call properly. If you look at the difference that just a few ounces makes, and if you don't make the cut in an Elite Series event, I mean, that's never the goal. That's never a good feeling. But not making the cut and missing it by just a few ounces and feeling like, man, did they really catch bigger fish than me? Or did that one just eat at the right time of the day, basically, and weigh just a one ounce or 2 ounces more?
Dave, you say culling is so much more important. What are you talking about? People just make mistakes, like 2-ounce mistakes in their culling, just choose the wrong one to send back?
Well, I'm not saying guys make mistakes, but I'm saying that that's what it comes down to. It comes down to ounces, and those ounces are made up with quarter ounces, you know, in your total bag, and using a balance beam is the only way to get it perfectly correct, in my opinion. I mean, see, some guys use scales, and it's really a personal opinion, but it just is just that much more key. And then also fish care. Think about it, you know, on a lot of bodies of water, any little penalty, there's some places you can recover, but as we saw here, if your weight drops, you know, 6 ounces, you literally drop off the face of the leaderboard.
Dave, thank you. That's a good way to look at it and how tough the competition is. It's a great place to contest a Bassmaster Elite Series event. Our thanks to Dave Mercer for getting us on track for our thinking there.
Saw Kobe Krieger miss fish right there. I got a text. Clark Wendell coming into this tournament, leading AOI. Watching our footage this morning, he said, I am absolutely positively sick to my stomach. This is no joke. He said, but here's what's good. I'm launching on Lake Ontario right now. Going back. He's going back with the weather we have, spending a few days out on Lake Ontario. It might be a little bit bumpy like out there tomorrow, though, Clark.
Honestly, he may enjoy that because it'll be good practice if we have to have another bumpy Lake Ontario final day. He only had 3 for 10. And it was hard to judge your stuff. Might be a good practice time with no pressure.
This is so strange. Look at Jamie Hartman. He is literally hooked up, number one, but number two, he's only like 2 or 3 miles south of Kobe Krieger right there, and it looks like a different lake. It's so weird.
There's a freaking giant, bro. Oh yeah. I seen that bait sticking out the outside of his mouth. I'm like, oh my God, please don't throw that bait. Dude, that's a small-mouthed brown stud right there. Oh my goodness. Whew, that's why I stuck around, dude. I knew I wasn't gonna get a bunch more bites, but I'm looking for that one more before I got out of here. Because I don't know what else I can do after this, so. Oh, that's got to go 4. 4, come on.
Got 2 2-pounders.
You stay. Oh, yeah. 391. We'll take it, though. Gets rid of that little guy. I just ain't seen a big one in so long. Here, just a slide upgrade. I love them brown ones. Yeah. All right, bro. Man, he was out there too when he bit it. Whew. Way out there. 1779. Now we insured ourselves to fish tomorrow. We get rid of that little 2.4 pounder in there and we are in some serious business. Oh yeah. Look at, man, it's like every time it's like my first dang fish. I just get so Now, if I've got all big ones, it won't be as bad, but when I don't, that's when it affects me pretty good. And I enjoy every second of it.
Well, that's going to put Jamie very close to 18 pounds, and moreover, it's going to break him out of that tie with Seth Feider, at least 4 now.
8th lead change today if you count the tie.
What, to eat that?
The 8th already.
Wow. That's amazing right there, folks. That is amazing. Stay hooked up, please, Lord. Please let this baby stay hooked up. Come on.
Is he looking for his wallet?
What was that? I don't know.
What's going on?
It's good to know you got it.
Leave it at home.
What's happening here?
Clicking the button for his shallow anchor.
I got it.
Nope, not that big. Not that big. Don't even know if it helped me, to be honest with you. Don't even know if it helped me. Long and skinny fella. Long and skinny. But to eat that, man, I don't think it's going to help me. Got to be a 3-pounder if I remember correctly.
You notice Kobe Krieger going from a Super Spook Junior to a popper style to an old school Pop R style. They have a big tendency to stay a lot better hooked on that smaller bait than that Spook Junior.
It's that leverage thing that you were talking about yesterday.
Big time. Like me and been eating, he'd weigh a little bit more.
We see a small Pop R style work well around the mayfly hatch. Is that still something that it's imitating, a bug type thing, or a small bait fish chasing a small bug?
I think so. You know, just
I would have thought he would have been a giant.
Also he's pressed them very hard with that
that's the one that
Spook Junior.
Spook, to be honest with you. I really don't. I think it was.
I think I remember Kobe telling me she pulled out his vintage Pop R box when he was in studio one time, and how much history, how much age, how much money he's won on those.
That might be a big one there.
He built multiple houses for him.
Nope. He ain't gonna help either. He might help. He's gonna be close to helping. I don't think so. Uh-oh, I got him because he's done hooked my sweatshirt.
Oh no.
Not even helping.
Oh no.
Not have to.
Wait.
He done wrapped my sweatshirt up.
Why?
In a big knot.
What? Hey.
You're not gonna help. I got a debacle going on here at the moment.
Boy, that is an old Pop R.
Not a 3-pounder. 2-something, 210.
Russell panning it on the lure.
Need a big fat one to bite. 210. Didn't I say 210?
Make sure that fish didn't make off with his wallet.
Look at this debacle. I mean, really? Better than my leg. The other day I had one in my leg. Don't worry about it, Krieger. It's only a $100 fishing jersey. No big deal.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna do it. I don't think he's gonna help.
Seth Fighter tries to see if that'll cull for him and upgrade. We're going to bring it back to the studio real quick to show you some Rapala Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing. And no lie, I've been standing at the monitor for at least 12 minutes, but we've had so many fish catches back to back to back at Champlain, we haven't wanted to pan away from it. But talking about Rapala Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing this week, we talked about how Champlain, you have to be so consistent, and it's how hard it is to differentiate yourself from a normal bag to an above average bag. And you can see that in the stats. I wanted to show the stats before I showed the fantasy fishing. The limits were very, very similar. The average size fish exactly the same. The big bass within ounces of each other. The big bag of the days 1 ounce apart. And the cut weight, normally you double it and see where it goes from there. If you doubled 17.2 on day one, that's 34.4, just a few ounces higher than what the actual cut ended up being. And then 20-pound bags, 4 on day one and 5 yesterday. Almost the exact same days out on the water. When we look at the top 5 selected anglers in fantasy fishing, you have 5 buckets to choose from. Pick an angler in each bucket. The top percentage guy for each bucket, this is how they laid out. Jamie Hartman, Seth Fighter, Chris Johnston, Greg DePalma, and Lee Livesey. And they're split into those buckets based on how they're doing in the Angler of the Year standings for our season so far. So obviously the top guys are at the top of the Angler of the Year standings like Jamie Hartman is, and then you work your way down. Some guys have had tougher years. When we look at the way they finished, Jamie Hartman, Seth Fighter, the 2 most owned and selected anglers in Bucket A and Bucket B, number 1, number 2 in the standings. Fantastic picks. Going with chalk this week has worked out for those guys. Chris Johnston sitting around 21st place after day 2 weigh-in. We'll see if he can maybe make the top 10 cut. But either way, a good day 3 opportunity for him. And then Greg DePalma and Lee Livesey, Bucket D and Bucket E, 38%, 37% for those 2 guys, the most selected there. And both missed the cut. 45th for DePalma, 65th for Livesey. So those are the percentages that may hurt fantasy fishing players, because a lot of people selected them and they didn't make the cut. So if you selected a lower percentage guy in Bucket D and E and he's fishing today, you gained a lot of points on the full field of players for fantasy fishing.
All right, the chalk rules. Chalk makes you feel safe and warm and cozy. You're doing good up at the top of that leaderboard.
That's an interesting description of,
of chalk.
Warm,
right.
Warm chalk.
Warm chalk. Thank you, Ronnie. This has been a stats-rich half hour of Bassmaster Live here. We've gotten some
and we haven't even
numbers.
Scratched the surface of Champy stats. We're getting warmed up. We're getting warm and fuzzy on that too.
Still, we mentioned this before. The average fish, day 1 and day 2, down to the 100th of an ounce. I mean, it's the 2 digits left of the decimal
almost
point.
Exactly the same, and that's what's crazy.
Oh, it is exactly the same.
Two fish less yesterday because 2 guys didn't fill their limits. So we had full limit capacity day 1, 2 less fish yesterday, and only like 6 to 7 pounds less total. So just the 2 3-pound 5 ouncers, and you're gonna have the exact same weights. That is Champlain in a nutshell, though.
Yeah, that
explains why.
Decimal dust.
Ed Lochran and David Mullins tied in the standings, and they've flip-flop weights, 19-3 and 19-14 back-to-back days.
Ed Lochran, Scott Canterbury, Brock Mosley, all to start the day in the top 10, all having fallen out now for the time being.
Gone. Come on. Gone. That was a big one. Swimming on by.
Seth, kind of outside of that marina, actually shook some fish off in that milfoil vegetation yesterday and texted me after the day 2 weigh-in. What was I doing shaking those fish off? And he made the comment. He thought one of them was really big.
Yeah.
Thought he would need it today, and he probably could still use it today.
And that's really the problem on Champlain, where guys like Kobe, Hartman, and Seth Feider are. When you start getting around that 17.5 to 18 pound mark, it is so hard to make calls the rest of the day. So hard. And all three of them have done it every day of this tournament.
Now, to their credit, that's why they're where they are. Take a look at some of the big fish we have seen during the course of this tournament.
Boy.
Oh, man.
A big green peak.
Brian Schmidt 6'2".
Giant largemouth bass
6'6".
today.
6 from yesterday, Seth Feider. Feider's gotten the work done, but Jamie Hartman, speaking of big fish, we just saw him boat one just under 4 pounds that broke him out of the tie. Now has him with a 2-pound advantage over Seth Feider. That's a pretty big deal.
Yes.
Pretty big deal on this big body doings of water right here. Big doings, as we like to say. We got big doings on the way, no doubt about it. This lake has been mostly on for all the hours we've been fishing here. We'll be right back.
The Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain is being brought to you live by Skeeter Boats.
I'm pro angler Andy Montgomery. I've been making my living with Strike King products for a long time. So when they showed me the new tour grade line, I was all in. I knew I could trust it. What I didn't know was how easy it was to use. With the spooling tool and the prepaid envelope to recycle your old line included in every single box. Not only is it the best line on the market, it gives you the easiest fishing experience possible. Find out more at StrikeKing.com.
While I travel the country on the Bassmaster Elite Series, I simply can't let the weather be the reason I don't win $100,000. That's why I use AFCO clothing to keep me warm, dry, and protected from whatever Mother Nature wants to throw at me. My season depends on it. My career depends on it. AFCO, any fish, any water.
At Mercury, we invested thousands of hours of engineering manpower so you can enjoy hours and hours of untapped horsepower. Introducing the all-new V6 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly. At Mercury, there are no limits to what we'll do to make sure you have no limits either. Introducing the all-new V8 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly.
You don't know their names yet, but you will.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work. Getting you to that fishing spot is key, and Bully Dog gets your truck road ready. No matter where, we give you the horsepower and towing torque right when you need it. We make getting there better. Make your ride a Bully Dog.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Mercury, go boldly.
Introducing the Bass U TV app. Get the most out of your Bass U TV subscription and learn on the go with the Bass U TV app. Unlimited access to 700 plus training videos. Multiple new releases each week, including seminars, on-water videos, live shows, interviews, and other original content. The Bass U TV app. Never stop learning.
In the wild, nature dictates that when it's time to eat, animals will instinctively find and devour the meal that satisfies them most. In the water, Berkeley Powerbait's scientifically proven formula triggers the natural predatory instinct in bass. Now available in a plethora of shapes, sizes, and colors. Berkeley Powerbait. Fish bite and won't let go.
You're watching the Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain, being brought to you live by Skeeter Boats.
Happy Saturday. Hope it's one for you. It's a happy one for us because we're able to bring you live bass fishing from this place. Incredible, legendary Lake Champlain. Pretty much a place on the bucket list of everyone who's big on bass fishing, that is for sure. Jamie Hartman has been big on Lake Champlain. Been locked in a tie with Seth Feider virtually all day long, and actually for the last 2 days. Just caught another good one to get himself right up on top there by a 2-pound margin right now, and that's 2 pounds of something here
That's
on
a
this lake.
Big, one of the biggest leads we've seen in the last couple of days.
The biggest first place margin I think that we have seen over the past 2 days. Kobe Krieger started in third place. He's hanging in there today. Some others who started in the top 10 have had a bit slower day. Not to say it can't turn around.
You see that bridge right there we were just looking at? That's the bridge that leads to Ticonderoga. We were looking forward to some footwind and nothing. No. A little bit with John Cox.
Did not play.
The case.
Looks different this year.
Yeah,
Less
Tommy, I'm going to tell you what's going to look different. It's going to be tomorrow, TH Marine weather report, a lot different. We're going to have showers in the morning, low ceilings, clouds all day long. Bing bong, peekaboo, southeast winds 10 to 20. And that is going to be midday on the low side. We could see gusts to 30, 35 miles an hour make baby cry.
Oh, my gosh.
But it's
very,
calm
very
when they take
dangerous.
off there, Z. Is there going to be enough time in the morning? The winds don't start picking up till 8:39 with a few showers. Is that going to be enough time for some guys to make some hay early? Like they have been, kind of.
It's going to be chipping in the morning. It'll still be chipping pretty good in the morning, I got a feeling. I looked at the hourly on our app that we use. It's gonna be a different morning, and it's gonna be one of these guys that on their smallmouth, I think the Carolina rig is still gonna fire, but guys like Kobe Krieger that have lived with a topwater bait, I think Mullins is gonna be in the mix, cranking them off. And we've seen Seth do a lot of cranking, so it's just gonna be. You're going to have to adapt, and I don't think tomorrow it's going to be as fast. A lot of these guys have done damage. They've wrecked them the last 2 days, the first 60 minutes. It's going to take a lot longer, I think, tomorrow.
We didn't see him catch a bunch of big ones, but Clark Windley was throwing a spinnerbait. We could maybe see someone pick that up tomorrow.
And the problem is a lot of times when it's cloudy, those nice wolf packs and pods, they tend to break up a lot to where when it's sunny, they're obviously really tightly together.
Got some good info just a little while ago from Dave Mercer. Right now we're going to find Dave out there in the presence of Tyler Rivette, so we're going to turn it over right now to Dave Mercer to kind of size the thing up for us. Dave?
His second season on the Bassmaster Elite Series, and a dude from Louisiana, so got you wondering, how is he in the mix here? But I asked him, I said, Tyler, so many people we see from Louisiana, they default, especially in a body of water like Champlain, where it has such incredible largemouth fishing and smallmouth fishing. A lot of times those guys from Louisiana and down south, they'll immediately default to largemouth. He told me that every single time he's fished in the Northwest, whether it's a college event or an Elite Series event or back in the Opens, he said every time he's come north, he's always fished for smallmouth just because he knows it's got to be part of his game, and it's also something he doesn't get to do a lot of. He's catching most of his weight from 2 areas, and we've seen that in the past where somebody from the south does really well in one of these events with not a lot of spots. I mean, you'll see a lot of the locals where they'll cycle through, 5, 10 spots, maybe 20 spots in a day, depending on who's fishing. But he's got 2 spots and he's doing all his damage. But it's a little nerve-wracking because most of his weight comes in the afternoon. He says, I can see him on the graph. He's looking at them. They won't bite until about 1 o'clock. But he's got 1 small one in the well, but still very confident. Does his damage after 1 o'clock and has done it every day up till now.
Dave, we see you right through the gut on the Inland Sea on the Vermont side. Is there a lot of traffic on that side? Because it doesn't look like it right there.
No, not yet. I mean, it's early yet. I mean, it's Saturday. You expect it to get. It's just not just Saturday, but a spectacular Saturday out here. It's really hard to imagine it being any more comfortable than it is. So it's going to get busy here. I mean, we've got some spectator boats. There's a few, some angling pressure. I see a boat off my shoulder there with some recreational anglers fishing. But for Lake Champlain, I would say not near as busy as I expected.
Dave, with all of the, we had to go through a lot of different protocols the last few weeks. St. Lawrence River coming into this tournament from everything that we've watched from the sidelines here in studio, it really seems like the last 2 weeks have gone, fair to say, better than expected with our staff and anglers.
Oh, incredible, really. I mean, everybody was a little nervous, obviously. I think nervous is the key word for the world right now. We're all a little nervous dealing with weird things. And there was a lot of people really nervous, but you heard it on stage where guys were like, man, I didn't know how this was going to work out, but the state of New York did a great job to work with us. The staff, Eric Lopez and his entire team. I mean, every time I try to give Tripp credit, Tripp will go out of his way to say, well, I got to tell you, it is Eric and his team that really, really worked incredibly hard. But all of them to make this happen. And we've had the best weather ever. I've heard you say it 100 times, but literally it's unbelievable that we've had these 3 days on Champlain and the 3 days that we had on the St. Lawrence River. But we are going to have another Sunday fun day, and the monster truck bass boat rides will be happening here tomorrow.
Dave, thank you very much. Good stuff from Dave Mercer out there with Tyler Yvette. Of course, we've been seeing Southern anglers come up here with the Bassmasters for years, 4 decades. You think they have a faster learning curve nowadays? Everyone does. Everyone has more information now, right?
Yeah.
But does information help, or is just being here on this particular body of water the most important thing?
I think here's the thing, is as different as these lakes get, if you really look at where a lot of these guys caught them this time around, it still is the same Lake Champlain without the factor of the Ticonderoga, which is usually a big factor, at least 2 or 3 days. We talked about with wind and when you start dividing fish down at Ticonderoga, when it's a player, it's always hard to put 4 days together if a tournament isn't going out of Ticonderoga, which a lot of them don't anymore. But I do think history definitely helped in this event because largemouth have not been a very big factor. They've just been a heavyweight factor in this tournament, which is a lot of times. But the other side is there's also a consistent 17 to 18 and a half pound largemouth bite on this north end. That never transpired, which made a lot of the smallmouth history from years past play a very big role in this tournament.
Oh, well, you got a dock dog there. We got a leaping dog.
Oh, I thought it was Zachary. Ronnie, I think you did dock dogs at the Classic. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you were on stage with
and
them.
Nailed it. Killed it, kid.
How far did you jump, Ronnie?
It's a little Super Retriever Series deal. Hey, fun fact, I did tell Michael Middleton, the producer of that whole pre-show at the Classic, I said, you should have told me. I would have jumped in on the final day of the Classic just to end the whole deal.
Oh, my gosh.
Take a run. I
That
do
would
exactly.
have been great.
Yeah,
Big old pool full of dog hair.
Powerful replay of the day.
Paul Mueller making a move from 23rd to 7th place. He led at St. Lawrence for 3 days.
Fair to say, producer Middleton probably want to push you in by the end of the
Oh, no doubt. 100%. I knew a lot of people rooting for that to happen.
No, not really.
No.
Hey, speaking about Tyler Rivette, though, we just did the Rapala Fantasy Fishing hit at the monitor, talking about Lee Livesey being a really high-picked person in Bucket E. I didn't feel comfortable picking.
First time here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yay.
And so I actually picked a Tyler Rivette because of the percentage. I felt the odds were good enough that somebody less than 1% that, hey, like, I wasn't really risking a whole bunch there in Bucket E and sitting in 20th after day 2 weigh-in.
No report on him today yet.
We've got all the dog jumping equipment of the state-of-the-art stuff here at work.
Family is serious about it.
Got
And
the
that dog's good at it.
Oh, yeah, the super jumping jacket, the ball launcher, everything. Dave was talking about that, and it aptly put the monster truck show that's going to be going on with these boats trying to get around tomorrow out there. Seth Feider said, did I not hear him indicate that the wind might kick up today a bit? Is that the plan for sometime during the day, Such?
I don't.
Today,
not going to get here till
that
tomorrow.
bad.
I don't think
That's,
so.
Looked like Champ out there with the Life Vest.
Boy, you're
I got
locked in.
scared. I turned away and looked back.
You're locked in, pal.
It's International Champ Day, I think.
Can you say dialed?
Yeah, be ready for the Welcome to Champ Day. Penelope the Clown video is going to be online.
No kidding.
Zoni will like this
boy.
at 5 o'clock, the Champ Day happy hour.
Why would I like that,
The
Such?
cryptid bartender makes a
Why-
champ float.
Why do you aim that at me, friend?
Hey, Z.
What's up?
Hey, Z, Tommy, just let him get it out of his system right now.
It's over.
Purge.
That's done. That's it.
Just purge.
Flush.
I'm really interested to see over the next probably 30 minutes to an hour what Jamie Hartman does, because this was when he got really, really quiet yesterday before
Good
his
point.
afternoon.
Yes.
If he can catch something today, because his smallmouth bag wasn't as big as fast this morning. He had to lean on him a little bit more.
It was odd yesterday. You saw Jamie Hartman, exactly like you're talking, went from smallmouth on the New York side, then he went largemouth fishing around the cut through from New York to Vermont, notorious largemouth area. Didn't do it long. Had some local traffic in there. You could tell it was bugging him a little bit,
yeah,
you
some
know,
other
that he was
fishermen.
sharing water, and then he went back to smallmouth, but did that on the inland sea side later in the day.
Yeah, didn't really get going again till the last 2 hours.
Yesterday, he had 4 smallmouth in his bag, 1 largemouth, same as Seth Feider.
Might go. He wouldn't have come off in a million years.
Little punch bug, soft plastic right there.
Oh my God. Be close.
One thing that's interesting about that ringed VMC hook that he likes to use on, I talked to him last year about it because he likes flipping a tube. He's kind of old school with it, a Bill Lowe and a Denny Brower style person flipping like that. Normally you don't peg your weight on a tube, and that makes it fall so much better. The action's more natural. But Feider likes to peg it a little bit higher on his line, let it move a little bit, but he likes it close to the tube. But that ringed hook allows that tube to have a lot more movement and more natural, kind of a spiral fall when it does go, and it allows him to fish it like the benefits of a peg, but the benefits of a unpegged action.
Stupid fish.
You know what's really weird about lakes like Champlain and other northern fisheries we go year after year after year? This is going to sound weird. They're very much like southern Florida lakes. Lakes like when we go to St. John's and Lake George, you see the same regions, the same areas that play year after year after year. When we go to Okeechobee, you see the northwest corner, the monkey box, areas like that, that where these fish breed, where they breed, a lot of times it's where they live. Does that make sense?
Yeah, oh yeah.
If you look at areas of the inland sea where these guys are catching them, areas like Rouse's Point, and I'm talking the smallmouth here, but even the largemouth, you look at areas like Missisquoi Bay.
He drinks this stuff, do you know that?
Huh?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, mix it with a little whiskey.
I do not drink whiskey, trust me. It's not my gig.
Good to go.
Nope.
It's delicious. You ever had some?
I'm not. What do you call a whiskey and G-juice?
It's a champ float.
G-Man sauce. I don't know. G-juice. It's already got the name.
There are friends watching this. I have never used TH Marine G-Juice as a cutter. Ever, ever. But what I was saying right there, is the northern fisheries are very much like places that we've gone where historically you could put a cameraman, because you know there's going to be top tens that come out of there. It's very similar on this lake.
Oneida would fall in that
Oneida
category.
would absolutely fall in.
7.3 medium
I
heavy.
think you got huge
Kage.
regions with.
You got a 1/2 ounce Woo tungsten. You got it pegged with a bobber stop. That's crucial when you're flipping this grass. You need that to go through in one piece. And then that's a 4/0 VMC extra wide gap with a ring on it. That's kind of my favorite hook. And we just pair it up with a little flipping bait and drop it in the milfoil 1 million times, and hopefully it lands on a 5-6 pounder's head. This is it's a tough way to fish. A lot of guys try to do this and don't catch them. They give up real easy. You can't just pull into a milfoil patch and expect to catch them right away. You really got to be super diligent. Pick apart every little strand of grass, just because when they're buried up in that grass, they can't see that big of an area, so they're not going to swim a long ways to eat your bait. So, and you're basically just trying to hit one in the head every cast.
Tell me about that hook with that ring.
Yeah, it's a new hook from VMC. It's got a welded one-piece ring on it. So it's a heavy-duty hook, so you can flip it with braid or braid to a leader or straight fluoro, whatever you want to do. And I think it just keeps my bait streamlined when I'm going through the grass. That sinker never gets kicked off to the side. And the hooking percentage on it for me personally is the best I've seen out there. I mean, I'm not scared when I hook one doing this, you know what I mean? I feel like
That's an
I'm gonna
APCO
win.
taste the bait there from Seth
Don't get me
Fighter.
wrong, if you get off, but
Talking about his setup. Are you a proponent of the ring? Use the ring, Ronnie?
I've never used the ring hook, but I do know that that's one big issue with flipping a tube is losing fish or missing fish, because sometimes the way if you give the head too much movement on the hook, it balls up when you set the hook because the hook wants to go back in itself because it's hollow. So for a bait that it either can't be hollow, or if it is hollow, that ringed hook allows it a little bit more.
Maybe you will join the fellowship
Come
of the
on,
ring
big
at some
boy.
point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, big fat
Help
mama,
if I
let's
had
go.
That was
you know,
great.
If I could go fishing.
Fellowship of
We
the
just
ring.
out here practicing our casting.
Make him a lord of the rings.
I got no problem going hours without bites, because usually if you find them in this kind of stuff, they're not going to move around a lot like them smallmouths do. You know, if you get a bite in the milfoil, he's pretty much going to be right there when you come back. So it's just needle in a haystack fishing is the biggest thing about it. You can't just whip in here with a spinner bait and think you're going to catch any. Yeah.
This is where it ought to be.
I'm doing a little 1-2 punch this week. I'm catching a lot of my fish on a jig and a Texas rig. A lot of these areas that I'm fishing, I'm going over them multiple times. So if I'm doing boat docks or hardcover, I'm gonna throw that jig for sure. A lot of this grass has slime on it, and that Texas rig just seems to, you're fighting it a lot less going in and out of it. So it's a little more efficient coming in and out of the grass, especially when you're just hunting for them. Like, I don't pick up that jig a whole lot in practice. That's more of a tournament bait for me.
Yeah, I wonder what the big deciding factor of when he picks up the jig versus when he picks up the Texas rig.
Up on us.
If it's only around the docks that he's doing the jig, or what?
I've been fortunate to fish this way with Seth a lot, and I watch that same thing. It seems when the grass gets quite a bit thicker is when he'll go to that soft plastic generally.
And I'm assuming it's a little thinner up by the docks just from boats coming in and out, blowing it out. People, maybe they monitor it and fix it much more than they would way off the docks where he's at.
But the other side is really, if you look at up near those docks, it is thin. It is not deep at all. I mean, it only looks to be 18 to really 2.5 feet deep at most up there, to where when you get out front of this, you get a lot more trench cuts from boats coming in and out, to where you get in that 3.5 more to 4 feet of water.
And Fighter, when he hooked that one on the edge of the sailboat to kind of start his morning in the deal, you could see all the dirt he was kicking up with his trolling motor. It was dusty, whether it was the dirt that was in the milfoil that it had grabbed onto it and filtered it, and he was kicking it up or what, but yeah.
All right, watching Kobe Krieger and Seth Fighter like a hawk. No telling when they're going to hook up. Jamie Hartman has had some serious hookups this morning and really laid down a good limit for early in the day. But right now we understand he's got a few issues, a few equipment issues, a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Well,
Hey, Trip. Hey, am I allowed to call? It's Jamie Hartman. I'm on the water.
Okay,
my
he's gonna
trolling
call
motor
Trip.
just went out. Can you please? Why it won't flash? It wouldn't flash if it didn't have powers.
So Elite Series pros are allowed to call service crew. He did get permission from Trip, make sure.
There was a master.
So you can figure out what electrical issue or equipment issue.
This is not good, losing this time for Jamie Hartman.
No, he's
It's
in
a
a good
bust,
position, but it could be difficult.
I don't even know where I'm at. I turned everything off.
Not good. Not good. Real bad.
I should be high right now.
Hey, but hey, here's a nice thing. Hey, he's got a good bag, so that does.
Yeah, he's bumping up against 18. Probably has 18 pounds of fish in the boat, but still, everything, we keep saying this, everything's so tight here. You can't take your eye off the ball. You can't be sitting on the sideline for any significant period of time, because if you're not out there maintaining your spot, somebody else is going to move the needle on you, and that may be the case here sooner rather than later. We're going to take a break and come right back here on Bassmaster Live.
The Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain is being brought to you live by Skeeter Boats.
What do a taco and a taco truck have in common? Nothing. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Mercury, go boldly.
Over 70 years and 19 consecutive NMMA Consumer Satisfaction Awards, Skeeter continues to set the standard. And now, through October 19th, you can fall into savings with rebates of up to $1,500 on the FXR Limited, up to $2,500 on the FXR Apex, and double rebates of up to $3,000 on the ZX250. Fall into savings now through October 19th. Visit your local dealer or SkeeterBoats.com and fall into savings on the Skeeter boat of your dreams.
This reel allows you to cover more water, make more casts, giving you more opportunities to catch more fish. The new Revo Rocket, Abu Garcia for life.
Introducing the Bass U TV app. Get the most out of your Bass U TV subscription and learn on the go with the Bass U TV app. Unlimited access to 700 plus training videos. Multiple new releases each week, including seminars, on-water videos, live shows, interviews, and other original content. The Bass U TV app. Never stop learning.
I'm pro angler Andy Montgomery. I've been making my living with Strike King products for a long time. So when they showed me the new tour grade line, I was all in. I knew I could trust it. What I didn't know was how easy it was to use. With the spooling tool and the prepaid envelope to recycle your old line included in every single box. Not only is it the best line on the market, it gives you the easiest fishing experience possible. Find out more at StrikeKing.com.
At Mercury, we invested thousands of hours of engineering manpower so you can enjoy hours and hours of untapped horsepower. Introducing the all-new V6 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly. At Mercury, there are no limits to what we'll do to make sure you have no limits either. Introducing the all-new V8 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly.
You don't know their names yet, but you will.
When I'm on the road for work or for fun, I always like to have a reliable generator around. This open frame inverter from Champlain is ideal because it's lighter than a standard open frame generator and more affordable than a traditional inverter. The remote start helps me start up the generator or shut it off without having to leave my camper. It provides essential power for things like charging my boat batteries, also makes life a lot more comfortable for myself and my family.
Your time on the water is precious. You return season after season to make unforgettable memories. Fight a few fish, reconnect with friends, and recenter yourself. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters stay with Yamaha for the long run, for life. They know reliability starts here.
Pre-collision system, standard, on the 2020 Tacoma, so you can go from one epic playground to the next. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
The Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain is brought to you by Abu Garcia, Berkeley, Nitro Boats, and by Ranger Boats.
We are back for a little less than a half hour left in our morning Bassmaster Live presentation from this great tournament on Lake Champlain, the 2020 Bassmaster Elite, fourth stop of the year. Most of this tournament, the majority of it has been with those two guys at the top, Jamie Hartman, Seth Feider. For a lot of this morning, they were pretty much locked in a tie, an ounce or two away from one another. Jamie Hartman broke out of that, caught one just under 4 pounds, I'd say about an hour ago, to put himself with a 2-pound advantage. And Jamie Hartman has gotten it done every day. It's been a little bit different rotation some days, a little bit different timetable, but he has gotten the job done.
Exactly right, catching one on a drop shot. Haven't seen a spinning rod in Jamie Hartman's hand a lot of this event, which is kind of rare. He always does a lot of work on his smallmouth finesse fishing, but really looking at the footage from this morning, eerily similar to yesterday morning. I know a lot of our anglers that have not qualified to fish today are watching this.
Real good.
It's almost like a replay over and over. What was funny this morning, it wasn't as fast, but the quality started to rise. Yesterday morning, he put 18 pounds of boat. Our guy on the water, Davey Height, said it. He put 18 pounds of boat in the live well very, very fast. Little bit slower to get him in the live well this morning. Jamie Hartman with another good bag of smallmouth. It's really been a harmonious event for him, whether it's been on the, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. This was the last big one Jamie Hartman caught right here on his Carolina rig. But somewhere throughout this morning, he's been doacked with, and I mean plagued with maintenance issues here in the last 45 minutes.
Yes. Barely freaking out good.
Jamie Hartman fishing just north of our takeoff there in Plattsburgh. And when you get doacked with big time maintenance issues on Lake Champlain, losing that precious time, very critical.
You don't want to sit on the sidelines at any point in time during the 4 days of fishing here. All right, we're still Still working on it here. Obviously, he's had everything turned off. When we went to break, basically, he said, I couldn't even tell you where I am.
You want to break down at a place where you can fish. You have to.
And he's right there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Uh-oh, I believe he's taking her back to the house.
Which luckily is just around the corner.
Right. He's frustrated.
Why?
We're going to have to stay with Jamie Hartman. This is going to get
not happy.
Not cool.
No. Short run back to Plattsburgh. And
I mean, I have to say it, that, and all of our viewers that fish tournaments are hardcore viewers know this. It's a lot easier to have a maintenance issue today. You've got a good bag in the live well. It's not like you've got a pound and a half or in there you need to get rid of. I hate to say it, if you're going to have a maintenance issue, if you're going to have a DOAC, this is the time of the event that you want to have that.
As we get closer to midday, the history for Jamie is, though, he is added at least a couple of pounds in the afternoon every day. So if he can get back out there, you know,
you're right.
It's gonna be close. You don't want to fall back.
Yeah, you don't want to leave the door open for this guy to be on the water the rest of the day.
Well, a lot has to do with your state of mind afterward too. Getting back out there and going, being positive, and
he was not happy.
We'll stay after that one for you.
A lot of boats on the lake today.
Ought to be done. Instead, battling. Still battling. Good night. How does that happen? How about we just catch this big and laying right here?
Yeah, how about it?
He won't even help me, I don't think. Of course, I catch the ones that don't help, right? He may help. I don't know, he's skinny. Skinny, long and skinny. Russell. Long and skinny.
A lot of viewers online calling for Kobe Krieger to get that topwater bait back up.
Come here, buddy.
We don't relay those messages.
I can't even see him. I don't think he's gonna help me. If he would, if he'd be fat, like that other one that blew up on my spook. Oh, Lord.
You see the belly on the fish that Clint Davis brought in yesterday? Oh my gosh, he had 1911, climbed back into the cut.
That's not 210.
It's the first time of this event that we're starting to see some other areas with Seth Fighter.
That happens. Would you? The one I need to catch, I don't catch. The one I really don't need to catch comes in the boat like a champ. That's jacked up.
There's somebody making a move. Brandon Pound, like he's over 17 pounds today.
Well, see if we can find another one.
Started the day in 11th.
Aggressive to eat something here.
Very curious to see
obviously
if we...
that one I had hooked or had on. Ain't no big deal. I didn't have him hooked because he come off. A lot of times on smallmouth, they just clamp down so hard on something, you don't even get a hook in them.
Just tuning in, Kobe Krieger, the majority of his reel giants, and he had a giant stringer yesterday, 22 pounds. Most of those topwater fish came from this time till about noon yesterday.
And you mentioned when we just came full to him, he said, I should be done by now. And we're still messing with these things because he's had some good quality show up, just miss his bait.
He's got a good limit right now. Just definitely going to need another pound or two before the day is over to feel really good about a chance of getting on top tomorrow.
Yeah, based on the weather forecast and the wind, he's gonna want to have a pound or two advantage over these guys. He's gonna have to make that up because he was 2 pounds behind the leader starting today.
Oh. Talked about Such mentioning Brandon Polinick, one of the guys making a move right here, especially in the last few minutes. And there's Brandon. We caught up with Brandon Polinick. And Brandon, hey, making a move, everything's positive. You spent a lot of time around him yesterday. Is today pretty much the same story?
I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or not. I've got real spotty service where we're at, and it keeps cutting in and out. But it's been a pretty good morning. We got a good start. You know, I've got probably 2 of the right ones, and then I've got 3 pretty good ones. So I think I've got over 17 already. I actually snuck up and caught 1 big largemouth, so that one's helping quite a bit right now. And then just been getting in some fish this last little bit, catching a ton of little ones. This is why Champlain's going to be healthy for a long time. You catch a bunch of these little tiny ones, make them look bigger. But you catch a bunch of those, and then you'll just see all of a sudden on your hummingbird, a big one will show up and you drop down on it. But I'm actually kind of fishing new water. Start just moving around, trying to fish less obvious.
All right, Brandon. But Brandon, we appreciate it. As Brandon continues to move around, we will attempt to get back with him when he finds a spot where we got a little bit better signal there. Few and far between, though. These poor signal places generally been very good pictures from off the lake here.
David Mullins making a move. He's been on the New York side all morning long, almost all day on day number 2. He's made a move to the inland sea.
Well, we just got up here to start throwing our crankbait. You know, yesterday these fish really didn't bite till noon. And so those deep fish this morning, it seemed like around 9:30 or 10, I could get them to chase it to the bottom, but they wouldn't eat it. It's not like they were really feeding very good, but you know, we had an opportunity. If we'd landed that one fish, we'd have a really nice bag right now. So, you know, I'm gonna grind the plug probably the rest of the day, and you know, all I need is 1 4-pounder, and I've got a really good bag, and that's gonna be the goal, and just trying to cover as much water and run into one. But again, you know, these fish yesterday, even though there was no wind, just like today, they didn't bite till high noon. So from noon till 2 o'clock was really, really on fire. So that's what I was looking for, is just to come up here and, you know, give that deep bite a little bit. I didn't fish the deep bite yesterday, and I'm glad I did today because it really was on fire this morning on a couple of those places and helped me out a lot. So we're gonna keep staring at our live scope and fishing these grass edges, and you know, like I said, if we run into 1 4-pounder, then we got a bag, and that's what we're looking for, if we can land him. We've lost so many fish. To lose that 4-pounder this morning and lose so many yesterday. So it's been a good morning, though. It's been a good blessed morning. So we'll keep winding and burning this thing as fast as we can. Hopefully run it over one that wants to eat it. That's a good thing about this lake, though. You can do many things. You can fish deep, you can fish shallow, you can fish your strengths. And the first time I was here, I just didn't get enough of the lake, didn't understand it, and this time it kind of came together a lot better.
Good tournament, been a good season for David Mullins. He's solidly in the top 15 and Bassmaster Angler of the Year points.
You know, Tommy, look at Dave Mullins' day today, and really yesterday. You look back on yesterday, there's a guy that's catching 20 pounds of fish, and we saw him lose a lot more that would have helped him.
Yesterday, lost a good one today. More than that yesterday. A lot of hookups, you're going to lose a lot, but still you can't let it get out of hand here. Because again, the tightness, the the necessity to just stay on top of it at all times.
We saw
Get
Tilly
everything
J
you
here, our Elite Series pro, had to leave this event, didn't get to fish this event this year. But in 2017, we saw that go down on the final day.
Yes.
Having the bites on trebled baits, but not being able to get them in the boat
Yes.
cost him a win here.
Like Jamie Hartman, Seth Fighter with a harmonious event, really has gone
Where's frickin' Sago when you need him?
exactly as planned. Bouncing from
Apparently he's
smallmouth to largemouth. He's done a lot more largemouth fishing than Jamie Hartman. Boy, curious to see Jamie Hartman's situation.
I'm hoping we will be able to get with him before we have to take our break. They're coming up in about 10 minutes. We're taking our midday break. The cameras will keep rolling. So when we come back, it'll be here, Bassmaster.com, the app as well, and also on ESPN2. That all happens at straight up noon Eastern Time. Take it. With that all the way to the weigh-in time today, 3 p.m., as it is every day. So we'll take this field down to 10. Talk about, Jamie's reached the takeoff in Plattsburgh. And
see what's going on here in the situation. He is not happy. Nope. See the stage in the background. Beautiful setup they actually, I know this is not the situation going on here, but great setup they actually built years ago in Plattsburgh, because that boat ramp area used to be horrid.
Kind of rickety.
Decades ago. Yeah, it was really rough. It was hard to launch there. City of Plattsburgh built a great center for launching boats, nice little harbor there.
I think it's called the Plattsburgh City Boat Ramp. I think that's like
Okay.
I think that's what they named that. So if you're looking for it, it is the Plattsburgh City Boat Ramp.
Aptly.
No fancy park name.
It's a natural.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh boy.
We've seen guys go in for work on their boats, even in the classic, but not often an elite leader.
Right now, he can get out of his boat or no in this situation.
I think he needs to stay. I think he has to stay with his fish.
So he needs to get a visit from
The
someone
pit
who will
crew.
help.
And it was funny, one of the things that a lot of the guys talked about last week, Chad Morgan-Taylor, one of those guys that has had a good event here, not wanting to go into the lake on the final day to preserve, make sure his boat was completely intact.
Chris Johnston.
Well, he went in the lake.
I mean, Corey
Right.
opted out.
There you go.
Right. Oh, boy. Love to hear what Jamie's saying right there. Bassmaster Live?
Yeah.
We've seen this with guys with outboard issues and stuff at times where it's been 30, 45 minutes and the crew has swapped it out. But like we said, with COVID, travel regulation restrictions, some companies have different protocols than others. It's not like as soon as Bassmaster says go, that everyone just jumps. Sometimes they have their own deals they have to work through. So
Ronnie, I know we have a lot of
but yeah.
I know we have a lot of viewers that looking at the footage want to come here and vacation, all the fish catches. What is the name of that boat ramp again, in case they do?
Yeah.
I believe it's the Plattsburgh City Boat Ramp.
Got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it this time.
Yeah, which is actually in Plattsburgh, New York.
Whoa, whoa.
What are we looking at here?
Hey, Kobe.
What's going on back here?
Yeah, what's going on over here?
What's weird, I threw that wacky worm over there too and they didn't eat it.
Look at that. Cameraman Russell. Almost looked like that fish had been caught. Is that a largie? No?
No. Smallmouth.
No, it's a smallmouth. Blacktail. Yeah, it's a smallie.
Maybe recovering.
Looks like an aquarium.
Went right under the boat there, huh?
Great picture.
Yeah, Krieger was 17 pounds, 13 ounces today. Just jumped into
Take my
second
spook,
place.
I just need to work it a little slower.
Say that again?
He's in second place, 1 pound, 14 ounces behind Hartman.
So he had a slight upgrade a little bit ago?
Work it as fast.
Yeah, we just out of range when he had a little upgrade there that's put him less than 2 pounds behind Jamie Hartman. See, Jamie, there's the problem. Jamie on the sidelines. Guy's starting to
Spook, I can just throw so much farther and cover
inch
so
up
much
in there.
water.
Passed Fighter by 2 ounces.
Wow.
It seems like the big ones blow up on this thing, for sure.
Jimmy Hartman has been very loquacious all morning long.
At the moment,
he's gotten a bit
they're having a
considerably
little
quieter here in the last few minutes.
eye-mouth problem.
We have viewers at home laughing that we're somewhat whispering in studio not to scare the fish that's
We
in
were
New
right on
York.
top of him, Ronnie.
It made me nervous. I didn't want to spook him.
He was right there.
Inside voice.
It's the golf voice, Ronnie.
Hey, if you've got to wait like Hartman is having to wait, utilizing his time, making sure his tackles, so when he goes out, whatever time he has left, he can actually maximize it and not have to worry about if everything's in order.
Two big ones blowed up on this thing. One I had on my wacky worm, didn't get him in.
I'd like to find out Kobe Krieger's setup with his
head at all.
Super Spook Jr. He is so good with that bait. I mean, he's married to that bait. A lot of the events we go to in smallmouth country. Does not sound like he's using braid. It almost sounds mono.
Yeah.
I'd like to know that.
See, his rod's set up that when I talked to him in studio about that, because that is something that he's very good at, he uses a very short rod.
Really?
It's, you know, one of those 6 to 6.5 foot
Wow.
rods. But that we, in the context we were talking about, was close quarter skipping.
Right.
I don't know if it's the same principle, but I know that it's so much easier to work it and whatnot. I don't know if he does go up to a 7 foot when it comes to that, but mono is his preferred.
Really? What pound? Are we at 20 pound?
I think it was. I think he said like a 15 to 17 to,
Okay.
you know, probably depends, 15 to 20, but I could see a 17 being the medium, middle of the road.
Well, we've had a lot today, cranking, flipping, Carolina rigging. Good variety today, topwater.
Now, if he gets another angler's boat to get into, it seemed like it was an electrical situation up front.
That was
I'm not
what I
don't
looked like
know.
it to me.
But the problem is a lot of our guys have left.
Oh yeah, it's not like there's another event waiting around.
Right.
They've been up as soon as they're not in the event anymore and they can leave, they can leave.
Yeah, I know what that music means, Tom.
Yeah, that kind of means we're coming to the end of our morning session.
And it was a sweet
Bassmaster,
session.
sweet, and very fast moving. Lots of fish catches on this day. What a great tournament we are having here, and we will be back after our noon break. We'll roll the cameras all the way through the break. We won't miss anything. We will recap everything of note when we return today. You're on Bassmaster.com, on the app, and on ESPN2.
We are going to be there.
All those platforms, we are going to be there. Starting
That wasn't
at
a
noon
question,
Eastern.
I was saying.
Yeah, that was you were underlining that for us. So thank you.
Live mix during the break, Facebook Live during the break as well.
Plenty on the way. A lot of enjoyment yet to come from Lake Champlain. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that today. Thank you for being with us on your Saturday morning. We will see you at noon Eastern Time on Bassmaster
Live!